Good morning. This is the Cowboy State Daily Morning Show with Jake. The new way Wyoming wakes up.
It's time to take a look at what's happening around Wyoming. From the Cowboy State Daily News Center, I'm Mac Watson. Wyoming State Representative Bill Alamond was arrested Sunday afternoon on suspicion of drunk driving. Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland reports that the lawmaker is saying he will fight the charge.
State Representative Bill Alamond told me in a Tuesday interview that he believes he should not have been arrested and, in fact, would not have been arrested had it not been for his insistence upon his rights. He said that he essentially upset the deputy by insisting upon his rights and that he intends to fight this charge.
Representative Alamond tells Cowboy State Daily that the DUI is a false charge and he was stopped, quote, by a deputy who did not like me knowing my rights, unquote. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem made a pit stop in the Bighorn Basin overnight on Sunday. Cowboy State Daily's Jackie Dorothy reports that her Coast Guard jet landed in Worland and Noem spent the night at a ranch near Ten Sleep.
What we know is that Kristi Noem arrived in Worland to go to a ranch outside of Ten Sleep, Wyoming, for some much-needed rest and relaxation. The reason she chose the Bighorns is not just for the beauty that it offers or the activities, but for the solitude. Eyewitnesses said that Secretary Noem just arrived with her security detail, spent one night at the ranch, and then was back on her way.
Secretary Noem's jet landed at the Worland Municipal Airport at 1:30 p.m. Sunday from her home state of South Dakota. She and her Secret Service detail left Monday night at 6:30. I'll be back with more news from the Cowboy State Daily News Center right after this. Oh, look, another national expert explaining Wyoming. Bless their hearts. Look, don't rely on national experts. We do it all ourselves at Cowboy State Daily Radio. Real news for real Wyomingites who actually live here. We tell it like it is, with headlines that hit harder than a spring blizzard and commentary that cuts through all the bull. Cowboy State Daily Radio. It's Wyoming news. No filter, no fluff, no kidding.
At the Wyoming Rescue Mission, we offer more than a meal. For just $2.58, you can provide the gift of hope, a hot meal, safe shelter, and a chance at a brighter future. We will serve thousands of meals this holiday season, and each meal allows our guests to experience the true spirit of Christmas, love, hope, and new beginnings. Please give the gift of a hot meal and hope today at wyomission.org. That's wyomission.org.
Cowboy State Daily News continues now. The federal government announced Monday it's approved $205 million for the first year of Wyoming's rural health program. Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland reports that one Wyoming lawmaker is skeptical of that program.
Even though the Fed signed off on money for this package that also includes the bear care, the catastrophic insurance program that would start with public seed money, it's my understanding that the legislature still would need to issue spending authorization to the Department of Health for that. And yeah, the way the Department of Health put it is it would be a standalone option to buy catastrophic care insurance to introduce another product into the marketplace. So Representative John Bainer, who also chairs the House Appropriations Committee, he said he's still not sure if the name Bear Care is meant as a jab at him in some way. He said, have you ever seen the government run a business efficiently?
Part of the plan has been dubbed Bear Care because it would cover catastrophic events like being attacked by a grizzly bear. The Bridger Teton Avalanche Center has logged reports of 32 avalanches in the Tetons since December 19th. Cowboy State Daily's Andrew Rossi reports that 2 skiers have survived being caught, including one on Sunday in No Name Bowl. He avoided getting buried by wearing an air pack bag.
The photo that was shown of the recovery showed that the skier was wearing basically a airbag on his person. And that's one of the many survival tools that outdoor enthusiasts or outdoor recreation enthusiasts are encouraged to keep on their person when they're out and about. The bare minimum is a shovel and a beacon that actually signals people where you are in the event you get caught in an avalanche. But this suit uses just the principles of physics to help people rise above, or at least in theory, the debris and the snow in an avalanche. So it makes it that much easier for them to recover.
Of the 32 42 avalanches reported, 20 were natural or triggered by explosions. And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting that daily newsletter button at cowboystatedaily.com. Have a happy 2026. I'm Mac Watson for Cowboy State Daily.
For a Native American child living in poverty, opportunities are limited and filled with obstacles. Generational trauma, poverty, and a disconnect from their culture. These children are looking for a new direction, a chance at a better life for their families and communities. At St. Lebre Indian School, Native American children get that chance.
I like that they try to keep us safe. I do feel safe here. My favorite thing about Lebre is how they incorporate our cultural values into our everyday education.
St. Lebre is more than a school. Here, every child gets the education and tools to become the change makers of tomorrow.
Graduating from Lebre will allow me to attend bigger universities and colleges through their scholarship programs.
Learn more about how St. Lebre is helping lead our children to a future that is proud, prosperous, and free. Learn more at stlebre.org.
Cowboy State Daily Show, Wednesday. It's final day of the year, New Year's Eve day. And excited for the new year. Glad to see the old one out. Most people say that, although there are probably some that say, man, I love 25. I want to do it again. You want to do over or do you want to double down on 25? We'll take a look at the top stories of the year as we look back. 25 year in review. We've got stories over the last 24 hours, Cowboy State Daily, including the lead story, the big story of the day. House Rep Bill Alamon, charged with DUI, says he will dispute it. He believes the sheriff's deputy didn't like the fact that Alamon knew his rights. Meanwhile, if Alamon's guilty of anything, it's a poor choice in beer. Michelob Ultra? I know it's popular, but oh my, it's not a real beer. Feds approved $205 million for Wyoming, including Bear Care, the rural health program money. $205 million. I thought we were thinking about the $300 million neighborhood, but whatever. 205 million towards the state of Wyoming for rural health programs, and among those, this Bear Care thing. Now, some people don't like the name, some people being John Bear, but it's kind of a unique idea. I sort of like it. I like any idea that's got something for people to lean on when it comes to healthcare, because that's an issue. What else is going on? We're going to look at a $16 million home. We'll just do some window shopping, dreaming. Renee Jean found a $16 million home in Jackson, otherwise known as, your average starter castle. And Christy Nome, she was in Wyoming not long ago, in Worland, in fact, spent the night in Ten Sleep. And we're now tracking the Ice Queen and everywhere she goes. She spent the night in Ten Sleep. That's what we think. Jackie Dorothy has that story. Avalanches in Teton County, yes. Numerous. More than 24, including a fatality and another skier who survived. A lot of avalanches going on. Heavy, heavy snow finally coming to western Wyoming. We'll see what Don Day says about the weather forecast. In general, we have another wet Pacific Coast deal coming, kind of a two-phase effect. That'll be here over the weekend. Today, though, pretty nice. And here's how nice. It is. Let's take a look at the weather forecast. I'm still not settled on my... No. I'm still not settled. No. Oh, that sounds kind of weathery. All right. That'll be our weather forecast music. Day weather forecast, Casper, sunny, breezy, highs in the upper 40s. Lander, no, I don't like it. I've decided I don't like it. There, this one, the cartoony one, this sounds weathery. Unless it's like a blizzard across Wyoming, then I might switch it up. Lander, mostly sunny, 47. Partly sunny today, 44 in Evanston. Rock Springs, same. Mostly sunny in Pinedale with highs around 42. Afton, partly sunny, 42. Mostly sunny, breezy, upper 40s in DuBois. And that's why they call it Never Sweat, sort of. Mostly sunny in Jackson with highs 41. That'll all depend on how fast the inversion breaks. My third choice for music for weather. Thermopolis, sunny 47. Cody, 52 today. Mostly sunny skies. Buffalo, not to be outdone. Buffalo and Sheridan going to be sunny and 53 today. Wow. Gillette, sunny 51. Newcastle, sunshine 51. Torrington, the hot spot in the state again, down on the plains. Sunny with highs in the upper 50s. Let's say 58 for Torrington on New Year's Eve. Wow. Douglas, 56, sunshine. Sunny, breezy in Cheyenne, highs 57. Sunny with highs in the upper 40s in Laramie. Rawlins, mostly sunny, 44 today. And that's the weather forecast around the state. Pretty comfortable. Temps back up, definitely above normal. And with a storm system moving in, not a huge wallop, but some moisture. It'll be rain in the eastern half of the state, snow in the mountains in the west. For the most part, Don Day will be on next hour. We'll talk weather stuff. Here's what we have for special guests today. Tons. Doug Kelly is going to be on first thing. In fact, pretty soon here. Doug is CEO of the American Edge Project. And we're going to talk about all things AI, artificial intelligence, what it means for the economy, the race to own AI between the U.S. and China. Wyoming is, believe it or not, huge into AI. We'll drop the numbers on you, but it's not just a Silicon Valley thing. Artificial intelligence, all that techie stuff. Every state, it'll manifest everywhere in all 50 states, and Wyoming foremost in how much the state has already embraced AI. Yeah, Doug Kelly and I will flesh that out. Ryan Semerad, maybe the most high-profile lawyer in Wyoming, after Cassie Craven, of course. But Ryan, he's that corner crossing trial attorney. He's going to be on to talk about his latest letter to the editor saying, beware, don't just don't be too eager to run out and cast your vote for Harriet Hageman for U.S. Senate. Hang on. She has to answer questions about selling public land. She was pro selling public land back when the topic came up. That was one of the biggest stories in 2025. Big stories. Now, the way Congresswoman Hageman explained it, it wasn't major sell-off. She wasn't looking to dismantle the forest and parks or anything like that. She was talking about small parcels that made it cumbersome to do things like she mentioned one parcel in downtown Las Vegas, I think. Meanwhile, I think the intention from the bill sponsor in Utah was more about a personal issue down there that was just relevant to Utahns. But suddenly this became an American West thing. And boy, people said, you're not taking our lands. Hang on. That really blew up. And all during it, I agree with Ryan that we didn't hear enough from Congresswoman Hageman on what exactly she would be okay with in selling off as far as public land. What would be a non-starter? What exactly, where did she fall in line? I think that is something we need to know. Ryan will be on and talk about that letter to the editor. Mike Darby will be here. He's the owner of the historic Irma, has been for well over 3 decades now. The Irma Hotel in Cody, Buffalo Bill Cody built that, named it after his youngest daughter. Irma opened for business in 1902, and it is very much the same. Not a lot has changed, and that's intentional. Mike has kept the Irma truly historic. And we're going to talk about New Year's Eve plans at the Irma. If you find yourself up there in Park County in the Cody area, yeah, New Year's at Irma. Sounds good. Dylan Bainer will be here. Dylan's chief principal economist for the state. We're going to talk about the year 2025 and what the economy did and what we can expect it to do in the next year in 2026. The highlights, the lowlights, all things economics in the state of Wyoming. Dylan will be on the show. Jared Petrino and I will talk about, I don't know, the latest guy to jump in the portal off the football team. We're up to 14 now. Goodness. And we'll also explore other things UW Sports. Jared Petrino on today. And Sheriff Brian Kozak, Wyoming's favorite sheriff, one of them. He's up there, well, down there for me in Laramie County, policing the Cheyenne area and beyond. Sheriff Kozak. We'll talk about, I'm going to ask him about the ICE stuff. They've been doing a lot of ICE stops, traffic stops, getting bad truckers off the road. And, of course, it's New Year's Eve, so we'll give you a heads up on how you don't want to drink and drive tonight or any night, Representative Alleman. Yeah, not tonight. Amateur night, New Year's Eve, and I'm sure Laramie County Sheriff's Office is going to be out in force. We'll see. Sheriff Kozak on the show. So, yeah, tons of special guests and much to get to, including some of the top stories of the day, national stories. And again, we'll look back at 2025, find out what happened last year. Is stuff that you barely remember that happened all the way back in January of 25 and stuff that happened more recently. 2025 had a lot of things, a lot of news items, including my story of the year. The only thing you can think about, 2 things I'll remember in 2025. The Coldplay Kiss Cam. This is, and I don't do politics, so it won't be anything political. It won't be Doge. It won't be Trump takes office. It won't be anything political. The Coldplay Kiss Cam, and 2025 was the year of Sydney Sweeney. There's no doubt.
Hey, Wyoming. Ready for news that actually feels like Wyoming? Tune into Cowboy State Daily Radio with heart, humor, and a little Western kick. From ranch roads to mountain peaks, if it's happening here, you'll hear it here. No fluff, no filter, just the real deal. Real voices, real stories, real Wyoming. If it's happening here, you'll hear it here. Cowboy State Daily Radio, Wyoming's news, just the real deal. 100% homegrown.
This is the Cowboy State Daily Radio Network.
Hi. I'm your retirement fear. But don't be scared. You're still in pre-retirement.
Does that mean I have more time to plan?
Precisely. Here, this is pretirement.org.
Retirement savings options? Potential tax breaks.
Move.
This isn't scary. I'm doing it.
You got this.
Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan.
So as a technical sergeant, E6.
I served in Vietnam in 1969.
I am a U.S. Army veteran.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Of course.
Yes.
Try to always be there for each other.
I do my best reaching out to my brothers and sisters in arms.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right?
I can't say that I have. I mean,
if you don't have someone to kind of help you guide those thoughts, it can be really bad.
eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own.
I guess it's a part of the military too, right? Service before self.
It was drilled in, service before self.
And you start to question, maybe people would be better off without me, When you realize that you're not alone, once you take that first step, there's so much support.
Yeah, we're right to it on a Wednesday. Cowboy State Daily Show with Jake, and it is New Year's Eve day. Yeah, I feel like cracking a beer right now because I'm not going to be up late tonight to celebrate. I'll be on the air tomorrow morning. Maybe the only one with a clear-eyed view of the morning on 2026. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make it to midnight. My midnight's gonna be about 8 o'clock. But I go to bed early if I'm not DJing, and I'm not DJing New Year's Eve, which is kind of rare. Doug Kelly's going to be here, the CEO of the American Edge Project. We'll tell you who that is, what that is, but we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, AI, and not just chatbot, chat GPT. AI is all-encompassing. It's basically putting computers to work to do things that we don't want to do, that we can't do that fast. AI is transforming how Americans learn, how Americans work, how we heal, how we build and solve problems. AI can reshape healthcare by making faster diagnoses and personalizing treatments. It can reinvent education. And it can unlock human potential by reducing drudgery. Yes, those menial tasks that are just, it'll free humans up to pursue higher value, more meaningful work and thought, presumably. Now, that means there's still a little bit of onus on people. If we have AI take care of all those menial tasks we don't want to do that are boring. For instance, AI can certainly do data entry and fill out your spreadsheets, really just punishing keystroke stuff that isn't fun. Why can't a computer do this? Well, it can. And that will free you up, that will free me up to do some high-level thinking and pondering if we use that extra time in that manner. I fear that many of us won't. I mean, if you've got all this extra time in the day because, presumably you got some computer chattering away in the corner of your house doing all those menial tasks, hopefully vacuuming, I mean, we're already seeing that, right? The Roomba. With all our everyday inertia fulfilled by computers, AI's doing it. AI's got it. AI's babysitting the kids. AI's vacuuming the floor. AI's doing my job. I'll have all this free time to play video games, watch TV, watch mind-numbing boop. Like, what are we all going to use this free time for? Are we going to expand our minds? Are we going to become that futuristic race of Homo sapiens that have big, giant heads and hardly any body because all we do is sit around and think all day? If AI is going to build fence here in Wyoming, if it's going to get out there and ride the range and do all the roughneck mining work that needs to be done in the patch, our bodies are going to wilt because we won't have to do no work. All we'll have to do is think high thoughts. So we'll be this race of, big-headed people with no use for our bodies. Just exercising the brain all day. I don't know. I've seen people, okay? I've been to the DMV. I've gone to Walmart at 2 a.m. I know what people will do with their extra time, and it's not high-level thinking. It's not the pursuit of cultural awareness. You're not going to read the classics. We're all going to sit around and watch Big Brother. That's what we're going to do with our extra time when AI does everything for us. My fear. Okay, where is Doug? Is my Zoom room open? Yes. I don't hear a doorbell. That's bad. What a way to end 2025 with more guest no-shows, which is aggravating. If I had a show producer, and I know Rob wants to be our producer, then this show producer would be on the horn right now saying, "Hey, Doug, where are you at?" Let me make sure I got my stuff right. Let's see. Wednesday, December 31st, 6:25 a.m. Mountain Time. Yeah. Okay. Well, a little more on the AI topic, and then Doug can, if he joins us, it'll be perfect timing. If not, I will have covered it all. But America is in this race, this pursuit to kind of be the forerunner of artificial intelligence, AI. That's going to require many things. First and foremost, building the framework. If we're to truly embrace AI in this next generation, we're going to need a buttload of data centers, apparently, because AI is actually a thing. AI isn't this theoretical cloud in cyberspace. It's not idea space. AI actually has a brick and mortar presence, and it is giant warehouses full of machines humming away. Think of AI as one big giant hard drive. Not one, but thousands. And they live in a building and they drink a lot of water. Apparently, these data centers are very thirsty. Although the latest modernized, revamped data centers apparently are very much more judicial about their water use. We'll see. I'm not convinced. They are definitely power hungry. Imagine, I don't know what power my computer is using right now, but it's sucking some power to do what it does. Now imagine a room full of these computers. Imagine a warehouse full of nothing but computers, thinking and thinking and thinking and answering our questions like, if I poison my roommate's dog with bleach, could an autopsy detect that? You had to be there for that story. See how I do foreshadowing, or this is backshadowing. This is recall. I don't know what you call it. That was a previous story. Very important things. Where is the G spot? You know, stuff we're all asking the Chat GPT. And these warehouse of computers just consuming so much electricity that you and I and our residential electric bill is going through the roof. Good thing we got AI. So yeah, to build all these data centers, to feed them all with electricity, it's going to cost. It will cost. I mean, that's always money, right? So to get the framework, get the infrastructure down is the first order of business. And that's being done. In Wyoming, certainly. There's not a week goes by where we don't hear about, they're breaking ground on another data center. Wow. But Doug Kelly and others are calling this America's modern-day moonshot. Remember the race to get to the moon? And the Russians thought they were going to get there. And if the Russians got there, it would be a dog or a monkey that made it, right? Because the Russians were like shooting up animals for a long time. I don't know if the U.S. did that, but the Russians sent up like a dog with no thought to ever bring it back. Like they were testing, could something live in outer space? So they would shoot up like a test cosmonaut dog. And the Russians, I guess, thought nothing of it. When people said, well, what's the return mission? How does it come back? Does it splash down in the Pacific? There is no return mission. We're just going to monitor the dog, see how long it can live. Oh, man. Whoa. And the chimps, I think they sent up monkeys. So if Russia got there first, it wouldn't even be a cosmonaut. It'd be a dog or a monkey. But we got there first, presumably, if you believe it wasn't a Hollywood set, if it wasn't some back lot in Hollywood, we got there. America won the race to the moon. What did it mean? I mean, we'll never be able to measure what NASA breakthroughs happened. But certainly after all, we invented Tang. One of the greatest things to come out of all that billions of dollars of spending to send Apollos up to the moon and be the first one to step on that dust. We got a flag on the moon and we got Tang, two of the biggest returns on investment for our pursuit to be on the moon first. After that, not much. I mean, we got there. We came, we saw, we got the T-shirt, and we're like, okay, that's the moon, huh? Big whoop. But this will be similar, the AI race for leadership. According to Doug Kelly and others, CEO of the American Edge Project, it's a coalition dedicated to protecting America's technological advantage, promoting innovation, ensuring the U.S. remains a global leader in emerging tech. All that will strengthen our economy, security, and freedom. American Edge Project. Doug Kelly, CEO. CEO right now. Don't see him in the Zoom room. But Doug says America has a moral and civic obligation to unlock AI's potential. He'll tell you, and my question was going to be, how so, Doug? But we do know that artificial intelligence is here to stay, and it involves much more than just a Silicon Valley thing. AI is everywhere. Fastest tech job growth in the United States by state. You might be surprised. States that have seen the fastest growth in the tech job industry. Number one is Tennessee, 37% growth in tech jobs. Number two, you're sitting in it, presumably, if you're one of us. Wyoming, 36% growth in tech jobs. Now, some of that could be the fact that Wyoming was so untechy to start with, there was nowhere to go but up, right? The only thing we did here in Wyoming was punch cows. That might be some of it, but also a lot of it is coming out of Cheyenne and coming out of legislative sessions where Wyoming has poised itself to be first and foremost in a lot of tech areas, from digital currency to blockchain to all this stuff. We are all about tech in Wyoming. And we're the ones building the data centers. Where are you at, Connecticut? How many data centers you got? Texas, 33% growth. Third, Florida, 30% job growth in the tech area. Interesting, huh? That Wyoming is in there. Now, the big concern is in this race to be AI-centric and number one in AI is state-level bills, according to Doug Kelly, state-level bills that are slowing growth. There are more than 1,100 state-level AI bills introduced in this year alone, 2025. In other words, bills that each state says, well, this AI is all well and good, but we better watch out in this area. And it could be something like autonomous driving cars, all right? We need some laws concerning this AI, a computer-driven car. Whatever. There are a lot of state-level AI bills, and the fear is they will slow down this whole push to be first in AI. I would call it cautious optimism. I think as we head into the brave new world, we do need to have checks and balances. We do need to know at the very minimum, what is AI and why should I not be afraid of it? All right. Well, there's everything on AI you ever wanted to know as I pinch it for Doug Kelly. Let's talk about, I want to go, I don't want to go here, but it is the story of the day. Hopefully you get the newsletter, the Cowboy State Daily newsletter. I hope you're a subscriber. That'll be in your inbox first thing every morning. It's kind of like the digital new wave way of receiving the newspaper. The old way, the kid on a bike with a lousy arm. I mean, that's so yesterday. The kid riding down the street, chucking your paper into the bushes, hitting the window, the big bay window out front, and sometimes landing on the roof. Where the heck is my... Oh, there it is. You don't have to worry. Our paper boy has great aim, incredibly accurate. In your inbox, in your email, you'll find the Cowboy State Daily newsletter every morning. And become a subscriber like over 100,000 people have already done. Lead story, which we will get to next. Wyoming House Rep Bill Alleman, charged with DUI, says he will dispute it. Claire McFarland has that story. We'll talk about it next.
Every morning, America wakes up to reheated outrage and copy-paste commentary.
Yeah, I don't follow talking points. I follow common sense. If that hits a nerve, good. It means you're still alive.
No spin, no fluff, no kumbaya. Just Jake. Serving up truth, sarcasm, and grit. Stirred by hand and seasoned with reality.
I don't yell, I don't pander. I just call it like I see it, and trust me, there's plenty to call.
From the Capitol to the county fair, if it's worth talking about in Wyoming, Jake's already on it. No permission needed, no script required.
The West was built by people who spoke their minds and stood their ground. I'm just making sure we don't forget how.
The Jake Show. Weekdays on CowboyStateDaily.com and wherever bold voices still have a mic.
No apologies, no filter, no bull.
You're listening to the Cowboy State Daily Radio Network.
Did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
These walls and windows hold me tight. The warm embrace we all call home. My neighbors watch over one another. This little street is a land of liberty of its own, where I always have a place to go. I'm free to call this place my own. We all deserve a place to call home.
That's an American dream.
When the uniform comes off, the battle doesn't always end. Too many of our veterans are fighting silent wars, with trauma, with loss, with hopelessness. Downrange Warriors stands in that gap, offering peer support, purpose, and a brotherhood that saves lives. You can help. Visit downrangewarriors.org, because no warrior should ever walk alone. Hope is waiting. Be the reason they find it.
Cowboy State Daily Show on a New Year's Eve day. I'm Jake. That's Doug. Doug Kelly's with us.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. I already covered our whole AI topic without
I'm so sorry. I had a problem logging in. Imagine a technology CEO having a problem with technology.
Dude,
Isn't that the story of America?
Why didn't you send that task to AI? Have it take like, why can't I log in? We're going to talk about all things artificial intelligence. Doug, by the way, CEO of American Edge Project, a coalition dedicated to protecting America's tech advantage, promoting innovation, ensuring the U.S. remains a global leader. What does it mean? Well, it'll strengthen our economy, security, and freedom. We got to be first to AI, just like we were first to the moon. It is kind of a modern day moonshot. Let's first, Doug, talk about what AI is, or how we're going to define it. It is, I think we all kind of know, it's much more than ChatGPT. It's much more than a chat bot. It's a lot more than a 16-year-old teenager asking the computer, I've been dating my boyfriend for 3 months. Is it okay to break up via text? Like, AI is significant. It's huge, and it covers a lot of ground. What is AI, Doug?
Well, first, people should break up in person. That's just the number one rule. It's a courtesy. It's a courtesy, right? It's you have one meeting, then you're done. So AI is the most transformational technology that has been developed in the last 100 years, and America developed it. But right now we're in a race with China to see who's going to become global AI leader, and it matters who wins the AI race because at stake is national security advantage, economic competitiveness advantage, and essentially at the end of the day, which country's values are going to be underpinning the global technology infrastructure? Do we want China's, which are built on censorship, control, and surveillance, or do you want America's values undergirding that technology, which are freedom, opportunity, and transparency? It's a simple choice, but if we don't win this race, that's what's going to happen. We're going to lose those advantages.
Yeah. And artificial intelligence already, we're seeing, we're just on the tip of what it is doing, what it can do. It's reshaping healthcare. It's making faster diagnosis, CCs, however you say that word, faster than our, most genius doctors. It just does stuff faster. It's reinventing education. It's reducing drudgery, menial tasks that we shouldn't be wasting time with. And then it could unlock us to pursue higher level things like watching a whole lot more Big Brother or whatever we're going to do with all our spare time. But yeah, there's AI is going to do a lot of stuff. Already is.
You're nailing the benefits for average people. Like most people, when they hear AI, it's kind of this in the clouds debate, and they're not quite sure.
Yeah.
I think the fact that you're concreting the values right there, saying, hey, look, faster diagnoses, better cures for tough things, customized education. People need to hear that because that's lost in the current debate. I'll tell you one other thing that it does is for small businesses, it's given them a whole new set of tools that will increase their productivity, not because they then can lay off a bunch of people, but because right now they're having run a few small businesses in my life, your bandwidth is limited by how many people you can employ.
Yeah.
Right. So now if AI tools help take off doing inventory or writing marketing content that sometimes business owners just aren't great at, well, all of a sudden that frees up other employees or the business owner to do more things. That doesn't mean they're letting go people. That means they're going to make more profits. They're going to create new opportunities, and they're going to hire more people overall. And in Wyoming, it's especially important because you have 77,000 small business owners out there. They employ 65% of the state. Like this is a big deal.
Yeah. And I think for all the jobs that might be lost because of advancements in artificial intelligence, there'll be jobs that kind of nobody wants now anyway, and you can't fill anyway. And you'll replace those 2-3 times fold with the tech jobs required in AI. I was kind of surprised, but not surprised to learn by state, the fastest tech job growth, Wyoming is like number 2.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because we had nowhere to go but up because all we do is punch cows. But I think Wyoming, the legislative session, we've seen our lawmakers make it very much a priority, tech. And Wyoming, 36% job growth in the tech industry.
Yeah, no, you guys are a tremendous success story on this overall. So a recent study we looked at that we developed was we wanted to take a look at what are AI's benefits in the states. And we looked at job growth, we looked at venture capital investment coming in, and we looked at data centers and how many were being built, how many did they have, et cetera. And Wyoming came out great in this analysis. First, as you said, second highest job growth since 2019. All that's being spurred by AI. But on the data center side of things, this is where AI lives. This is the heart and soul of American AI, right? You guys are number 12 in adding new data centers. You're adding almost 50 more. And what that's going to do, it's going to employ nearly 95,000 additional people in your state. Some of them are short-term jobs. Some of them are long-term and permanent jobs. But either way, that's a lot of people to employ. It's also about $250 million, so $250 million in state and local tax revenue, not paid by people, paid by companies who run the data centers and own the data centers. Those things can be used for hiring new teachers, police and fire, et cetera, all the local priorities that we have. So this transformational technology is not only be good for America in the long run, but it's also going to be great for working families as well as local communities.
We're talking to Doug Kelly, CEO of American Edge Project. Doug, I think for those who have trouble getting their arms around what is AI, this theoretical cloud, I mean, the data centers really put a physical presence. It really shows you boots on the ground what the cloud is, what AI is. It's data centers. It's warehouses full of computers that are doing our thinking for us. We got to start there. And Wyoming is really, I mean, we had like one a week, it seems. We hear about a new one that's coming.
Yeah, well, if you think of data centers as the factories, as AI factories, right? Every country, every state welcomes new factories and new manufacturing coming in, right? It's a similar thing with artificial intelligence, right? These big data centers you've seen go up, and they've been around for 50 years. Let's not kid ourselves. They have been around for 50 years because this is where companies host their very sensitive information and protect it with redundant backup, et cetera. Now, the new ones that we have, they're just hosting giant high-powered chips that do the processing faster. These things have been around a long time, but if you think of them as AI factories, then it's a different way of thinking about it overall. And there was just a start. I want to give a shout out to Wyoming too, because you guys not only having a lot of tech growth and data center growth, and that's your state-based things, but at the same time, you've opened up a rare earth mine, the first one in 70 years in Ranchester. We only have 2 in America. One's in California. And it looks like you guys have a 150-year supply of really critical rare earths that we don't have to get from China then. It makes us less vulnerable. It strengthens our supply chain. And so now the key thing is, how do we get the permitting reform to fast track the extraction of those rare earths so we can put them in production? Because these go into everything from AI chips to, the latest fighter jets to your Nintendo Switches that your kids play with. These are in everything. And right now, China controls a lot of that supply. So thank goodness you have a giant pile of reserves there. And I think you're going to find more as you go ahead in the years ahead.
Yeah, that infrastructure is the first step in the race to being on the moon in AI, to beating China there. It'll have wide-ranging implications, like you said, depending on who is considered the front runner, the foremost in AI. China could put its value system stamp on it. Or the U.S., where it was our idea. Let's finish the job. It'll mean rare earths. It'll mean data centers. We're getting a leg up on that. Certainly in Wyoming, all this growth, all this movement towards AI could be hampered with speed bumps from state level bills. More than 1,100 state level AI bills were introduced in 2025. Now, some of them, states are saying, hey. We might be all ready to go with AI, but let's take baby steps. Let's build guardrails. Understandable in some ways, but some of it is just going to get us caught up in red tape and bureaucracy. We see what happens there when, government gets in the way. We need government to pave the way. What's the message from D.C., Doug? I know President Trump is very pro-energy with Wyoming, oil, gas, coal, stuff like that. Is he very pro-AI? And can that message get slowed down by states? We've seen it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, it's bowl season, right? And I'm based in Columbus, right? So the Buckeyes are going to beat Miami tonight. You're hearing it here first.
Whoa!
I know it's a bold prediction. But in AI, like there's 4 determining factors overall, right? Because basically we're in the Super Bowl of AI right now with China. And to win that, a country has to have energy, it has to have adopting the technology, it has to have the right talent levels, and it has to have an advantage in chips. Right now, we are losing to China in 3 of those 4 areas. They produce twice as much energy as we do. We don't have enough talent in terms of skilled trades to build the data centers. We have deficits of about almost 2 million people in terms of advanced manufacturing for these places. And we're really slow to adopt this technology. A lot of people are afraid of it. The only area that we're ahead in is chips and data centers. So we have to drive that competitive advantage while at the same time making sure that we're increasing our supply of energy through all sources possible. And you guys got a ton of it out there. And at the same time, making sure we're making more of the skilled trades to build these places and embracing this technology because it ain't going away. And if I'm old enough, I'm 60, right? So I remember when the internet first came around, and a lot of people were like, well, this isn't going to stick around.
Yeah, right.
Well, guess what? It has. And every tech innovation since then has come around, and there's initial predictions of like, wow, this is using too many resources, or this is going to lead to mass unemployment. Every time they predicted that, they've been wrong. And it's going to happen the same way with AI, right? There's going to be new jobs that are created that we don't even envision, right? When the internet was first created, we didn't think, oh, search engine optimization specialist was the thing. We didn't think, digital marketing expert was the thing. Guess what? They're things, and they employ a lot of people.
Yeah. I don't think there's a worry we're all going to be put out of work. Or if we're put out of work, that might be a good thing. We'll make money doing something else. I mean, you don't have to be doing some menial task, drudgery job. So, Doug, again, what's at stake for America to so-called win the race to AI over China? America, you say, has a moral and civic obligation to unlock AI's potential. How so?
Yeah. So if you think about what America's done historically, we do things that expand freedom, that expand opportunity, and expand health and livelihood for the entire globe, starting with America, but all the things we do ripple across the globe. This is what we have, this potential with AI, right? So if we develop a cure for cancer or Alzheimer's, right, we can sell that to the world or give it away or however we choose. Similarly, with using AI, we could develop nuclear fusion, which would be limitless energy that's clean, and we never have to be dependent on any country for any other energy source again. That's things that we can sell. Now, if China beats us to those things, well, they're going to get all that economic value. They're going to get all the jobs that are created from that, and they're going to get all the money, frankly, that's created from that. At the same time, while they embed their AI systems globally, that spy on you, that send back your information to China, that give you social credit scores of, is it going to affect your loan if you've said something critical of the government online? This is what the world is facing because China is aggressively exporting its AI models across the globe. So when I talk about adoption of AI, it's not just here at home, right? We need to do that, and most of the people adopting it here are going to be using American AI tools. But globally, that's where the battlefield is, right? Do we want Latin America? Do we want Africa? Do we want East Asian countries? Do we want them working off of our platforms, or do we want them working off of China's, where we know China's already going to get their data and use it for their military and strategic and economic purposes? Or do we want them working off of AI platforms that are built in America with American values? That's what we need.
Yeah. I mean, China's lack of transparency, their censorship policies alone tell me that any breakthroughs they... Good point. Doug Kelly with us, just about out of time. Learn more, AmericanEdgeProject.org, AmericanEdgeProject.org. Doug, did you see NVIDIA's buying out Grok? I just heard that today.
No, I didn't. Is that just like minutes old?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I don't know what that means for you and us, but it must mean something. NVIDIA, huge chip maker and a big player in that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, thanks for having me on your show. I'm so grateful. I'll just add one thing for your audience. If they need to make their voice heard, because local officials are responsive. So if you say, hey, listen, you got to call your elected officials and tell them pass things that accelerate innovation, that don't hamper it, it's going to make a difference.
Yes, we all got to pull together in the same direction on this rope. All 50 states, all of us Americans. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Happy New Year.
Yep.
Cowboy State Daily Show with Jake. Yeah, I just did read that NVIDIA bought Grok. We'll explore what that means a little later in the show. We're also going to recap 2025. What a year, huh? Do you want more of the same, or you want to forget what happened in 2025? I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on that. I could take another 25, but I also am excited about what the next year may bring. I'm excited about what the next hour may bring, and that's coming up right after news. Top of the hour news as we break away for our radio affiliates. We'll play our news. They'll do their news. We'll all meet up again in about 6 minutes. Stay with us this morning, and thanks for being there.
It's time to take a look at what's happening around Wyoming. From the Cowboy State Daily News Center, I'm Mac Watson. The judge overseeing a small claims dispute has dismissed the case in which the ex-boyfriend of State Representative Nina Weber was suing her. Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland reports the judge dismissed the case with prejudice.
The judge dismissed with prejudice, meaning altogether, the claim by Representative Nina Weber's ex-boyfriend that she owed him $6,000 for an African safari hunting ticket. And the ex-boyfriend, Scott Weber, the last names are spelled differently, but he told me that he's going to appeal. So on the one hand, you have the ex-boyfriend like, she concocted this story, we're going to appeal this, and the judge, meanwhile, said, no, Representative Weber's story is believable. unbelievable that she did not intend to go on this trip or have this ticket bought in her name because she was scared of Zimbabwe after the last hippo hunt.
Now, the crux of the case was whether Nina Weber and Scott Weber had a verbal or other contract in which he was to buy her more than a $6,000 plane ticket to a Zimbabwe hunting safari, and she was to reimburse him later. Patricia Wire, founder of Broken Bandit Wildlife Center outside of Cheyenne, has seen many animals come and go at her wildlife rescue center. Cowboy State Daily's Mark Hines reports her most heartwarming tale of 2025 is that of a mama raccoon who lost her babies, trashed a pickup in her angst, but then got a second chance.
Someone in Cheyenne found 4 raccoon babies in their boat, and so they called a critter catcher. You know, that's a person that specializes in capturing small wildlife for people. He came and got the 4 babies and took them out to Broken Bandit, and they just assumed, well, the mom must have taken off. Well, it turns out the mom was still alive and was hanging around the property, and she freaked out and ended up tearing the guy's pickup pretty badly, I guess, like his windshield wipers and the liner, you know, the rubber lining on his windshield mat. Critter catcher came back out again and captured mama and got reunited with their babies, and I guess they spent some time out of Broken Bandit till the babies got big enough, and then they sent them back loose in the wild.
Wire tells Cowboy State Daily that she's had all kinds of critters brought to her in the facility, including skunks, draft horses, foxes, and a zebra. I'll be back with more news from the Cowboy State Daily News Center right after this.
At the Wyoming Rescue Mission, we offer more than a meal. For just $2.58, you can provide the gift of hope. A hot meal, safe shelter, and a chance at a brighter future. We will serve thousands of meals this holiday season, and each meal allows our guests to experience the true spirit of Christmas, love, hope, and new beginnings. Please give the gift of a hot meal and hope today at wyomission.org. That's wyomission.org.
Cowboy State Daily News continues now. Jackson Hole buyers often have to choose between Grand Valley views or seclusion. But Cowboy State Daily's Renee Jean reports that there's a home on Trader Road that is a rare exception, being secluded with a view.
This is just the coolest home in Jackson Hole. What makes this home a little different from others? There's the buyer who wants to be up on top of the hill, looking down on the world, looking down on creation kind of thing. And then the other kind of buyer is a little more practical, wants to be in the valley, wants to be able to use their land. But this 2540 Trader Road is that rare place that kind of gives you the best of both worlds. And that's because it is up on an elevation. So there are places where you can see down, look, you know, the big landscape, the big valley view from your windows. But it also is nestled into a little aspen forest.
The 7,800 square foot, 4-bedroom, 5-bath home was among a wave of homes that were built starting in the late 1990s and has been extensively remodeled in 2020. Dick Nelson was 12 years old when he came to Wyoming Territory in 1887 and spent 45 years watching shootouts as a railroad man. Cowboy State Daily's Jackie Dorothy reports Nelson also earned a reputation early as having ice in his veins, not even flinching when Texas cowhands shot at him.
Dick Nelson is a colorful character who kind of flew under the radar. He didn't make the newspapers. He wasn't famous, but he saw everything happening in Wyoming as it became a territory into a state. Nelson grew up in an age when the railroad towns were rough and wild. He witnessed everything from shootings to hangings, and he survived it to be able to share those stories when he was in his 80s and his 90s.
Dick Nelson's great-great-grandson, Drew Hester, is keeping the family legacy alive, working on the family's generational ranch in Wyoming. And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting that daily newsletter button at cowboystatedaily.com. Happy New Year. I'm Mac Watson for Cowboy State Daily.
Go wash up and grab your sister.
Okay, but first... Where's Grandma?
Hey, Mama. Ma.
I'm worried about Mom.
Mom? She's fine. These the ones, right, Mama?
Yeah, groundlings.
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes.
Daddy, it's salty.
Grandma's just getting old. Some things come with age.
And some don't.
Early detection of Alzheimer's
can lead to better care for your loved one.
Add 2 eggs.
Learn the early warning signs at 10signs.org.
Cowboy State Daily Show, Wednesday. I'm Jake. He's Ryan. Ryan Semerad's with us, trial attorney with Fuller Semerad Law Firm in Casper. Famous for a lot of things. I mean, there's like not a case in Wyoming that isn't. Your caseload's got to be crazy, Ryan. You're like everywhere.
It's busy.
The corner crossing case, the win over Iron Bar Properties, that's the most noteworthy. In fact, it involves public-private land, most notably public land, and that's where we're going to start our discussion. Ryan's also a pretty darn good writer. You can write what he does in justiceforcowboys.com. His latest piece, though, was penned in the Cowboy State Daily, Letters to the Editor. Let's not rush to the would-be coronation of Harriet Hageman for Senate. I get it. I get the pump the brakes thing. Let's talk about, anybody running for office. We should properly, make informed decisions when we vote. That's a good reminder and a good heads up no matter what. But in the case of, Cynthia Lummis, U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis, opting not to seek re-election. She's had it after 6 years. I don't blame her. Congress has been a zoo. But Congresswoman Harriet Hageman is ready to jump in, and we need to ask her all the questions that concern Wyomingites and our passions, beginning with the public land deal. Ryan, where do you want to start?
Yeah, so I think that the way I phrased it, and I stand by it, is we should look at actions and not words. And I think when it comes to Representative Hageman, now candidate Hageman, there were this series of steps from 2024 to 2025. And there's some history that goes way before that I think is important for voters to know about. Candidate Hageman, Representative Hageman, has put out many statements over the summer to kind of backpedal and dilute and criticize these comments about her position on selling public lands. But the truth of the matter is that in 2024, she signed on to an amicus brief that demanded that all federal public land holdings get turned over to the state. She did that, and then she signed on or voted yes in favor of a bill or an amendment to a bill that took place around midnight in April, May, to add 500,000 acres to a sale, just tacked on to another bill. It just happens kind of at midnight. And then you have Senator Lee's bill, which she was a supporter of because she looked at it as a reasonable way to dispose of some lands. But these were mandatory disposal procedures. I mean, the record is pretty clear to me. Her actions are she wants to sell these lands. To me, that's what matters most. And I think for regular Wyoming folks who think of her in however they view her, they should keep this front and center, that this is a key part of her record that we can go look at. It's not hard to find.
Yeah. There's so many things about the voting record of Congresswoman Hageman and all the things. I've chatted with her regularly on the show. So many things that I do like. I do believe she has Wyoming first in mind when she goes to D.C. But this one issue, yes, I also have a little bit of heartburn, a little bit of concern anyway, because I never felt I got a clear answer. Remember, going back to Senator Lee's thing. Let's go there, Ryan. Help me understand. Utah's Lee had in mind with the public land sale a way to benefit particularly Utah. There was a part of Utah that was his concern. It seemed to be kind of a self-serving Utah bill. But there was more than one senator and congressperson that was ready to sign on to that. And then it blew up. There was a huge groundswell. People saw it as this land grab. Suddenly our forests were going to be sold off and taken from us by, to private developers. And then there was the backpedaling from politicians. And I didn't hear enough, honestly, from Congresswoman Hageman. I heard that, her notion was this bill was little more than just taking care of small parcels in downtown Las Vegas or something. But I don't know. Did you hear enough?
Yeah. So, and I am a little bit of dadding right now too, so I'll pop off my camera just a second.
Yeah.
But the thing that I wanted to flag about this exact point is that it's the cliches. Cliches matter. You give an inch, people will take a mile. And yes, this was a very small percentage, and it had a dedicated purpose for it. But at the same rate, if we allowed this small portion to be sold off, to be disposed of with no oversight, just because of the say-so of these representatives, we would have no idea why they were going to do it, and what about next time, and the time after that, and when it starts to expand.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit similar to the NRA argument that if you come for the assault weapons, they'll want your BB gun next. I mean, it's open the door a crack, and yeah, I get that.
And to me, that is my biggest concern, is that if we allow these representatives who have this vested interest, and especially from Senator Lee in Utah, who has been pushing this for a decade plus, who's been saying, look, let's get rid of these lands because and there are reasons for it, in my opinion, that especially in a state like Utah and some of these other Western states, the idea is if we can move from federal management and ownership to state management and ownership, we can sell it. And then once it's sold, it's gone forever. And that's the problem with the give an inch, take a mile thing with public lands, is that it just takes a small amount to go. And once it starts to go, it is gone forever. It's not coming back into this notion that it is a shared resource for all of us to enjoy. And I think that it is, in my opinion, it's not answering the question to just call this problem silly or to say it's a very small portion. That's not answering the question. The question is, what is the plan? Are you in favor of getting rid of these lands or not?
Yeah. What about the idea that, that the Lee thing, I think, was just a Utah thing, and then everybody read into it what they wanted for their state or their concerns. Then there was that another bill that was the last minute tack on, add on? I hate anything that comes 11th hour in a bill. Like, beware. That's red flag stuff.
Yeah. And to me, that is the biggest issue with the Natural Resources Committee bill, which was the 11th hour. We're going to tack on and sell these 500,000 acres. Is that, why are you doing this at midnight? Why are you doing this as a throwaway thing? I mean, it's not an insubstantial amount of land. And if I were to say to you that we were just going to get rid of 500,000 acres of your land, or an equivalent percentage, okay, if it's 1% of your property, it's, look in your backyard, pick out 1%, and we're just going to give that thing away. Who's to say if you give away that 1%, you're not going to give away the next 10, 20, and so on, as we've just discussed with this kind of a slow drip turns into a flood. But it's also this idea that why is it happening in this way? And when we want to entrust someone with even more power, especially knowing, and I wrote an article about this last year in the Wyoming Law Review about the disposal process of public lands, that power is constitutionally assigned to Congress. And so when someone wants to run for a higher office in Congress, the question of what they're going to do with these public lands is essential, and we should know the answer. It shouldn't be a guess. It shouldn't be a joke. It should be concrete. What are you going to do? Because we're giving you the power. This is an up-down vote. If we give you the power, you're going to be off to do that.
And there already exists, right? The disposal of public lands. There was already a process.
There is, and there's a process for these underused or underutilized lands. There is a process for hard to reach lands. There are already processes in FLTMA how to dispose of these lands. And Congress has created a structure for that. The purpose of Mike Lee's bill, the purpose of the Natural Resources Committee amendment, the purpose of the Utah lawsuit all of it is to basically turn what is a very careful kind of scalpel-like approach into a shotgun blast and let's just get rid of it now. And here's how we're going to do it. And especially that lawsuit. The lawsuit is the big bad one, which again, I mean, so did many of our state representatives signed off on it. I mean, that is, if we have budget problems, we're trying to cut taxes left and right. How are we going to purchase all 52% of our land mass from the federal government if the Kelly parcel is selling for $100 million? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. The only way it makes sense is if you're going to sell it to the 10 or so people who've got the pocketbooks to write checks for it.
We saw concerns. We saw the public, huge uprising, big pushback on any notion of selling public land. That was one of the biggest stories of 2025. And yes, any politician, anybody running for office has to answer questions Wyomingites want to know. And that is a huge issue for Wyomingites. The letter to the editor from Ryan Semerad: be wary of Harriet Hageman. Pause, reflect, make informed decisions when you go vote, of any politician, no matter who. But it's certainly one of those things I do want to clarify with Representative Hageman. And when she's on this show regularly, it's one of those things I will ask her, exactly where are you on this? What does it look like when you say you're okay with selling public land? Is it just this piece, that parcel, or overarching? Yeah, I do want more answers, always want answers out of our elected officials and anyone running for office. Smart stuff, Ryan. You got to get back to law work. New Year's Eve, what are you going to, at midnight, are you going to be celebrating, or are you still going to be working on the case?
You never know what can walk in the door, but I sure hope that I'm on a little trip with my family right now, and I'm hoping that there will be no law work that I'll be doing today.
Good. All right. Happy New Year's to you.
Happy New Year's to you as well.
Thanks, man. Ryan Semerad, read the letter to the editor of the Cowboy State Daily. Be wary of Harriet Hageman. And as far as where Representative Hageman was on the whole public land sale thing, there was more than one bill designed to sell public land. There could be instances where that is palatable to you and I, and there's certainly red flag concerns that, wait a minute, what are you selling? How much of it? And because we fish, we hunt, we hike, we do stuff on our public lands. It's a reason why many of us are here in Wyoming. We got more coming. Don Day will be here in a moment. We'll do some weather forecasting after this.
JB Hunt now has CDLA truck driving jobs in the Cheyenne area, and they're hiring Class A drivers for a local dedicated route. Drivers can make $78,000 a year and be home every night. Plus, medical benefits after 30 days on the job, also earning paid time off on your first day, and enjoy other perks like a company-matched 401k. As a company founded by a truck driver, JB Hunt is driven for you. So head to drivejbhunt.com to see the JB Hunt difference. That's drivejbhunt.com.
This is the Cowboy State Daily Radio Network.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it!
Yeah. You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
Nice.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner!
Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
Yeah, let's get to it. It's a Wednesday morning, more importantly, the final day of 2025. How are you going to celebrate New Year's Eve? And how are we going to remember 2025? I know as far as weather, we're going to remember how warm. I can't remember anything about the other months, but we're going to remember how warm December was. We still got one more day to go, but I think when we crunch the numbers for December, it is going to be maybe record-setting warm. Don Day's with us. We're going to do some day weather forecasting. Don, I was checking out your podcast, trying to get informed about weather, more informed anyway. And let's see. Here are my notes.
Okay.
We have a wet West Coast system coming in and kind of a two-phase deal with a jab and then the big haymaker is coming this weekend. Is that somewhere in the ballpark?
Yeah, the haymakers for California.
Yeah.
Wyoming is it's not in the ring. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But we're going to get a little bit of weather with it. But yeah, another big wet event for the West Coast again. But a little bit of that weather's coming. But for the last day of the year, boy, it's going to go out with a whimper.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's Winston.
Hey, Winston.
So what's going to happen is we're going to have another beautiful day.
Yeah.
I mean, just like yesterday. A lot of people sending me photos of these deep blue Wyoming skies with snow-capped peaks, and it's been beautiful, really, and it's going to be beautiful again. Now, tomorrow and Friday, the western counties of the state will see a lot of clouds. There's going to be some high country snow showers off and on, a little bit of snow shower activity for the valleys. It'll get to the Continental Divide, then stop, just like it's been doing.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of weather coming from this West Coast storm, and then another piece will come in this weekend, similar results, but nothing to rock the boat.
Yeah, and you can see it in the map. I mean, it's very visual. What this torrential, this pounding that central and northern California is getting, the wet, and yeah, it gets to Wyoming, and every mountain range kind of takes its toll on it. It's excise tax. And by the time it gets to the Continental Divide, it's kind of the last stand. Like, not going to get to Torrington. Yeah.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the middle part of the country, and it starts in eastern Wyoming, far eastern Montana, and this goes all the way to Texas. This goes away to Kansas, Oklahoma,
like nothing.
Missouri, and the Dakotas. It's just, there's this gap, and that's going to hang on. We talked about this block pattern going on for a month now. We continue to see signs next week that it's going to be weakening, and so we still see it. And so it's something that we'll monitor. But if that block finally gives up the ghost, we'll finally have some more weather to talk about. But it's going to be a process, as we discussed. It's going to be a week or so before we really start to see the weather get more active. But once it does get more active, it'll stay that way.
Yeah, and long range, let's talk about those two blocks. Watch me audition for a job with day weather. You got H here and an H there, the Greenland block, showing some signs it may be pushing off to the east, and the Aleutians block might be weakening, and it means winter will finally get here.
Yeah, if you just like the analogy, if you take the log out of the log jam, you're going to let stuff through. So, we have gone from what do you think is the best offensive line in the NFL?
Oh, geez. I used to think it was the Bills, but poor Josh Allen's running for his life. Eagles is pretty good. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we're going to go from the Eagles offensive line that's not letting anything through to let's see, who's getting the first draft pick?
Yeah.
Is it the Titans or who is it?
No, what's his name? He's been sacked the most. That kid from Washington, who's playing for one of the LA teams now. I always forget if it's
the Raiders.
We're
going to switch the Eagles for the Raiders.
No, the Chargers offensive line.
The Chargers. Okay.
Horrible. Herbert has had to run for his life. Yeah, okay. Changing offensive lines. That's a good sports analogy.
Sports analogies and weather really works.
Totally.
There's a lot of really good through them. So
definitely.
There hasn't been one, put it this way, there hasn't been one sack in 4 weeks.
No, this guy's got all day to throw. Little bit yesterday was fantastic in Jackson, but a little bit of inversion, which messes up the forecast for most people who don't know. Like, I'm waiting for the high of 30 yesterday, and it was still 17 degrees at noon. Like, it just took a long time.
Cold shot that came in on Sunday gets trapped in those valleys sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Don, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
All right, thank you. That's a day weather forecast, and okay, we got log jams, blocks, and all kinds of stuff like that. Let's get right back to the Zoom room. I want to get Mike Darby in here, and we're going to talk all things Irma Hotel. Let's see if I can press the right buttons. And there's Mike.
There we are. We're live.
How's your New Year's Eve day going? New Year's Eve day.
We've got well over 100 reservations already for dinner tonight. The ball, we've practiced with it. The lights work, and it's all lit up and going to be ready to drop right at midnight.
All right.
Is when we'll start it.
We're going to talk about all things New Year's Eve at the Irma. This is Mike Darby, who I will say is owner of the Irma, but Mike would say he's just the next man up in a long line of caretakers making sure that the Irma, which opened in 1902 and was still there in 2002, is still going to be there in 3002 with the same creaky door on the women's bathroom. I love the fact that not only are you preserving this historic piece? I mean, Irma's a jewel, but you really go above and beyond, Mike, to make sure it still looks historic. It looks like, I mean, obviously you've modernized some plumbing, because let's face it, who wants a pipe from 1903, still rusting away? But you really go out and look for old aesthetics that fit the era, don't you?
Oh, we do. We scour antique stores, various places that have antiques for sale, and try to get things of the era, so to speak, and place them in the rooms or conspicuous places where the public can enjoy them and enjoy the Victorian ambiance of the Irma Hotel.
It's not the same carpet from the 1900s, but it's a similar pattern or wallpaper or whatever. I love the whole look comes together. Are you still renting out rooms for $1 a day like Buffalo Bill did when he opened?
Well, we have to charge a little more than that, you know, but we still try to maintain, a reasonable price and everything so people can come enjoy the Irma. Wintertime's a great time to come enjoy it because our prices are lower and the crowds aren't so numerous, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about New Year's Eve stuff. I saw the menu. Now, the prime rib at the Irma, legendary, but I did not see that on the dinner bell. You're going to switch it up a little. Prime rib you had for Christmas, I know. What's the dinner? And you said you had 100 reservations, but that room will seat like triple that.
Oh, absolutely. And we're still taking them as we speak. I look down the line and Daniel's on the phone taking reservations for tonight.
Good.
So we're going to have prime rib on our buffet. We're calling it a pond to pasture buffet tonight instead of surf and turf. We're going to have crab legs, stuffed halibut with crab, just all sorts of delicacies tonight.
Awesome. And entertainment, live entertainment, always at the Irma. Who's there? The Bus Kings again?
We have the Bus Kings along with their friends Ed and Jeff, and they just make a complete band, and they'll knock it out of the park tonight. They'll welcome in the new year in style.
I love it. I love it. You got courtesy champagne toast at midnight, and the ball. I mean, you think the New York City's ball drop is something, and they've been doing that for a long time. You got the real ball drop.
Oh, we have the real ball drop, and we've been doing that since the turn of the century, the 21st century, that is.
Yeah.
I believe that New York took liberties and didn't ask us if they could drop their ball and copy ours. So we just figure that's the best form of flattery there is.
Definitely. I do have a whole bunch of like trivia stuff about the ball that you never knew, like what it's made of, the history of it, how many different balls there have been, all that kind of stuff. But yes, New York City second, to the Irma's ball drop.
Yeah. One time we had our ball actually stolen, believe it or not.
Really?
Yes, from the balcony, and it was recovered on the golf course. No kidding.
Wow.
Thank God. Back, yes.
Yeah, well, I think, people know better. You don't mess with the Irma. Mike Darby's with us, owner of the Irma Hotel. Still time to get... you think it's a lot of visitors, Mike, that are booking in? Or I love the idea of not having to drive on New Year's Eve. If I want to have a great dinner, I want to party, I want to, listen to music, I want to tip a lot of champagne, and then I just want to go to my room upstairs. Easy.
We still have some rooms available. A lot are taken already and booked, but we still have probably 10 to 15 rooms available for those that want to party in style and not drive home.
Yeah, usually 35 and 70 are probably the last to go, or maybe the first. Those are the haunted rooms.
The haunted room's already spoken for.
Okay.
So it's always spoken for by somebody, if you know what I mean.
Ooh, yes, I do know what you mean. Cue the spooky music. And, just to make sure you get a selfie of you or somebody takes a photo of you in front of that beautiful cherry wood back bar. I mean, that thing is legendary. Queen Victoria gifted it to Buffalo Bill, or Buffalo Bill bought it in France. Either way, it is European. It's old. It is gorgeous.
It is, and it's one of the greatest iconic pieces of woodwork in the West. It truly is. It's been on various shows and things. People from all over come to view it, love to see it, and you can polish it for good luck.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like the place to be if you're in Park County. If you're over there in Powell, I don't know, all the other towns in Park. Get to Cody, get to the Irma tonight. Sounds like a real New Year's Eve celebration, and Michael's set you up. Mike, thanks.
Thank you.
Have a great New Year's.
Happy New Year. We'll see you.
Yeah, the historic Irma Hotel that was built in 1902 for $80,000, $100,000 at the most. Buffalo Bill built it, named it after his youngest daughter, Irma, and that thing, that is history. Historic place. Still looks outside and inside to a degree, still looks like it did in 1902 when it opened. Gorgeous place, historic, and the Darbys, John Darby, Mike Darby, they've owned the place. They've been the caretakers of the Irma for at least 36 years, I think, something like that, maybe more. I stayed there. I've been there. The Irma and the Occidental in Buffalo are two must-stays, must-visit, must-stays in Wyoming. Just so cool, so iconic. Filled with history and ghosts. Read Renee Jean's story on the Irma in the Cowboy State Daily. It's pretty cool. So this is what you got tonight. $37 land sea buffet, prime rib and snow crab. Or check out the crab stuffed halibut. New Year's Eve, you're going to be dancing with the Bus Kings and the Bus Boys. They're going to get cranking about 9 o'clock, and they'll play through the new year. You'll ring in midnight with a champagne toast, courtesy of Irma, and the countdown to midnight at the Irma Square, where they're going to drop the ball. They've been doing it longer than New York City's been dropping their ball. In fact, New York City ball drop, that's got some history to it. You know, there was only 2 years that they did not do the ball drop. And I want to say one of them was that COVID year. And probably another one was war-related, like, World War II. Actually, they did drop the ball in COVID, but nobody was there. The event has taken place every year since, what was the first year? Yeah, they have not been doing it as long as the Irma, that's for sure. 1907. December 31st, 1907, the first ball drop in New York City on Times Square. And have done it every New Year's Eve with the exception of 1942 and 1943. Yes, and that was obviously World War II. During 2020... COVID, the height of the COVID pandemic, the ball still dropped, but it was a nearly empty Times Square. The ball this year, what is it made of? The ball that drops in 2026, you're going to be looking at a crystal-covered ball, 12.5 feet in diameter, that will make its descent on New York City's Times Square. The ball's also going to be used again. How many different balls have there been? Care to guess? That's a good trivia question for Abby. If Abby is on tomorrow, New Year's Day, and I have not confirmed that, but if so, I will definitely ask her this trivia question. How many different balls have there been? It's not been the same ball as 1907. There have been different iterations. This new one, by the way, will be the biggest ever used, weighing in at 12,350 pounds. It is the 9th different ball to be fashioned for and used in the New Year's Eve ball drop, the 9th since 1907. It's also going to be repurposed and reused for a 4th of July event. The ball will drop again. First time the ball will ever be used to drop in a non-New Year's Eve situation. And it'll happen in July. Of course, care to guess why? It's going to mark the 250th anniversary of the nation's birth. And the ball will drop again in Times Square on the eve of July 4th. So it's going to have two jobs to do in the year 2026. That's all the trivia you need to know about the New Year's Eve, about the New York City ball drop, second only to the Irma ball drop, as we just found out. We'll be right back. I think Andrew Rossi is going to be here. We'll check.
News happens at any time, any place. That's why at Cowboy State Daily, we're dedicated to the stories that matter, with reporters stretching from your hometown across Wyoming and beyond. It doesn't matter if it's happening in Yellowstone, the capital in Cheyenne, or the most remote slice of Wyoming. With over 150 years of combined journalism excellence, if it affects Wyoming, it affects you, and we've got it covered. Upstream from the herd, we're Cowboy State Daily.
You're listening to the Cowboy State Daily Radio Network.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Logan Wilson here at the M Building in Casper, Wyoming. They do more than just support businesses and private events. They support nonprofits by offering reduced rates to help the community thrive. The staff here at the M Building have been incredible in helping me organize a fantastic event. They are great partners for those who want to make a positive impact on the community. Come check out the M for your next event.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority. Filling up something far more important than any feed. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our every day with understanding, empathy, and compassion, leaving hate to become what it truly is, a whisper.
Oh, Dave Simpson, I feel your pain. Dave's got a great column. It's my favorite Dave Simpson column of the year. Only because it's just so silly, but it's so true for all of us OGs, all of us boomers, all of us dinosaurs. So true. Dave, you're right on with this one. Dave Simpson's latest column, funny, accurate. Headline, a new electronic gizmo to sync up? Oh, no. Columnist Dave Simpson writes, I somehow need 3 remote controls when all I want to do is turn on the TV and watch a 50-year-old episode of Gunsmoke. I got to juggle 3 gizmos, 3 remote controls. I feel your pain, man. All of us, I think, are in that. The more tech we add, the more technology we add that's supposed to assist us in our everyday life, the more complicated some things become. I mean, in the same day and age where we don't have to lift a finger to get our living room devices to do stuff, I can make my refrigerator dance just by talking to it, and I can do it remotely from another country. I can tune in and tell my refrigerator to get colder or warmer. That's an incredible advancement in tech, right? I can turn on my radio and tune in a station without lifting a finger. All I have to do is say, Alexa, tune in the Cowboy State Daily Show and turn the volume up a little. Jake's got something important to say. And Alexa will do that. Yet, in the same day and age, I have all these great cushy advancements. I also have more remote controls than I can hang on to at any one time, as Dave Simpson points out. I need a remote for the TV to turn it on and off and to turn its volume up and down. I need a remote for whatever it is I'm playing through the TV, whether that's my, maybe you got satellite TV, maybe you got direct TV, that's got its own remote. Yes, I know there's universal remotes that are supposed to cover all those button pushing things, but they never work right. Never turns out right. So I got a remote for direct TV, a remote for the TV, and then I got a remote for, the sound bar, as Dave Simpson points out. And who of us has not found this out? He said, go figure. Today's flat screen TVs, as advanced, as beautiful pictures as they give us, 85-inch televisions, they have sucky sound, like terrible sound. Worse than the first TV that ever came out. Back when televisions used to be as small as the window in your cruise ship, in your, what do you call it? Your berth, your cabin. You ever seen the windows in those cruise ships? They're like this big, tiny. That's how big the first TVs were. Yet they came with a unit that was as big as a couch, If you were the first one on your block to have Joe's got the Simpsons got a brand new TV. They're the first ones on the block to have a TV. What's a TV? Well, it's kind of like radio, but with pictures. And they were as big as a couch. Gigantic. Yet the screen was, little. And they had better sound back then than today's flat screen TVs. In order to be flat up against the wall, and in order to give you 85 inches of football, they have like no speakers. The sound sucks out of flat screen TVs. That's for sure. So you need to get external audio, sound bar, if not, speakers, but a sound bar, and you need a remote for that. So suddenly, Dave Simpson finds himself juggling 3 different remotes, and it was all set up by his kid, of course, because we can't do it. I can't figure it out. And the kid, after setting it up, hands dad the 3 remotes and says, don't touch anything. Don't push any buttons. It's all set up. All you got to do is, hit on and change channels. Don't hit any other button. The remote has like 50 buttons on it. There's only one you're supposed to be messing with, according to the kid who programmed it. And of course, Dave somehow pushed a button, and suddenly he needs his IT guy, known as his son, to come over and rework it. Yeah, so fun. Great piece by Dave Simpson. Beginning, in it, Dave writes, our son's first words when he came over to fix the problem after somebody pushed a button, he said, I told you not to touch anything. It sounds like, everybody's kid, right? But did you listen to me? No, you went and touched something. Now I've got to figure out what you did. And Dave said, it's tough to watch the tables turn. The kid whose diapers you changed, the kid you drove to preschool, the kid you taught to drive. Suddenly that kid is giving you the Dutch uncle routine for touching a wrong button. Respecting your elders goes right out the window when it comes to electronics. So true. Great piece from Dave Simpson, his column. So right on. With today's technology, sometimes we've made life harder, not easier. And you need 3 remotes just to watch Gunsmoke. Criminy. I've got some late holiday ideas for you. I know it's past Christmas. But if you forgot somebody on your list, here are 2 things you can buy. One of them, I'm pretty sure, is fake. The other one I thought was fake, and I can't believe it's real. I saw these on the Facebooks. One of them for $7.99, I'll share the photo with you, is what's called a urine jug. And it is essentially your gallon milk jug, your gallon water jug, whatever. And it comes empty with the notion that you'll fill it up with pee. Obviously, this thing is all the rage in every Flying J and every truck stop. For $7.99, you get an empty. I don't know why you couldn't just buy, the milk jug, drink it, and then get the extra benefit of having your pee jug. But the urine jug, made with durable, non-toxic plastic, 100% leak-proof, that's important. Discreet and portable for privacy. Follow guidelines for safe disposal, which means do not chuck it out your window while you're driving down I-80. The FDA-approved urine jug from Selena, only $7.99. Trucker travel urinal. Okay, that's got to be fake. Got to be. But this is not fake. I was pretty sure it was. There's a company called P Sport, and they sell a P Sport pee bottle. It is a portable. It looks very much like like a canteen, like a water bottle. Looks like any water bottle you would carry with you on a hike. Only in this case, it's not for drinking. It's for what drinking causes, peeing. And most people have the same reaction. I'm looking at this thing for sale. I wonder how much it is. Whatever they're charging, it's too much. Because everybody's saying kind of the same thing. Here it is, ultra hygienic, high density silicone. Patent pending snap seal latch. Ooh, that sounds snap seal latch. Heavy duty expandable body, just in case your pee is going to come in at anywhere near 34 ounces. But yeah, it is a portable pee bottle for basically when you have to go hiking and camping. And most people have the same reaction I see on the Facebook. And I don't know how this company is selling even one of these, is the whole world is a pee bottle. Like when I'm camping, at least me, and I know you're not supposed to, and I don't pee anywhere near water. You don't want to urinate like near a river or a creek or any kind of water. But who among us is going to take the effort to purchase and then use this pee bottle when you're hiking and camping? For a guy, the entire world is your urinal. I'm not peeing in a bottle. Maybe the girls will pee in a bottle, and then we can bring in the whole notion of aiming. I don't even know how this works. There's a video to show the guy how to use it. I get that, but I don't know how the young lady would use the all-new P Sport Relief System. I got to know how much this costs. They have a website. Yeah, I thought it was fake. And everybody kind of that I'm reading thinks it's fake. Let's see. $59.95 for just $60. You can get a pee bottle. Obviously, you then need to carry this along with you for the rest of your hike or the rest of your camping trip. If you're on a 3-day camping trip, you better get 3 of these, because you'll fill up about 3 of these, I would think, 1 a day. And then you'll need to empty them somewhere. When you get home, I guess, you'll bring them with you and pour them in the toilet. $60 for the P Sport relief system. And you guys now owe us, Cowboy State Daily, money because I just advertised your stupid pee bottle, even though I think it's completely unnecessary and ridiculous. Yeah, okay, that story I did want to get to because we don't have an Andrew Rossi sighting. Nope. Wyoming House Rep Bill Alleman, charged with DUI, says he's going to dispute it. He's going to fight it. He says it's a false charge. He said, I got a deputy who did not like me knowing my rights. Boy, I have so many issues with this story. I may not have time in the remaining 4 minutes. I don't have time. There's so much about this, and it's way more than just a DUI because I don't want to get down on anybody for getting a DUI. It can happen. I got one from way back when I was stupid and, I don't know, 20 years old. It can happen. I mean, let's be careful about picking up a stone and casting a rock when you live in a glass house. I'm not, that's got nothing, for me, that's not the issue here. There are many more issues with the Bill Alleman arrest for DUI. And still, remember, innocent until proven guilty. We don't know if truly Representative Alleman was driving while impaired. That's the charge. A judge is going to decide this, or a court case will decide this. It's not so much the arrest and the shock that a lawmaker would get a DUI. I mean, you know what? Any walk of life can get any one of us can get a DUI. That's not the issue. The issue is the denial, the defiance. I mean, I'm reading the affidavit here, and I don't know yet whether the deputy overstepped his bounds, but golly, it sure doesn't seem like it. In the affidavit, an open can of Michelob Ultra beer, a loaded pistol, 4 more beers in the front passenger seat, and Alleman himself saying, I drink when I drive to deal with anxiety. That's not the correct answer. Wrong. Where's my buzzer? Sir, how many beers do you have any idea why I pulled you over? How many beers have you had tonight? Look, officer, I need to drink when I drive because I have anxiety. Wrong answer. Wrong. Every time, wrong answer. So is the old, I've only had 2. How many have you had tonight? The 2. I don't know if he really did have 2, but that is the standard answer. Ask anyone. I'll have Sheriff Kozak on later today, the Laramie County Sheriff, and I'll ask him, what is the standard answer that your deputies hear 99% of the time when they pulled someone over and they say, how many drinks have you had tonight? 2 is the answer every time without doubt. And it's almost never 2. But anyway, there's a lot more to dig into with this. Yeah. Cowboy State Daily Show. It's going to wrap up hour 2, 3. Where are we? Yeah, hour 2. We're halfway done. Still, much more to come on a New Year's Eve. News next now.
It's time to take a look at what's happening around Wyoming. From the Cowboy State Daily News Center, I'm Mac Watson. Wyoming State Representative Bill Alamond was arrested Sunday afternoon on suspicion of drunk driving. Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland reports that the lawmaker is saying he will fight the charge.
State Representative Bill Alamond told me in a Tuesday interview that he believes he should not have been arrested and in fact would not have been arrested had it not been for his insistence upon his rights. He said that he essentially upset the deputy by insisting upon his rights and that he intends to fight this charge.
Representative Alamond tells Cowboy State Daily that the DUI is a false charge and he was stopped, quote, by a deputy who did not like me knowing my rights, unquote. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem made a pit stop in the Bighorn Basin overnight on Sunday. Cowboy State Daily's Jackie Dorothy reports that her Coast Guard jet landed in Worland and Noem spent the night at a ranch near Ten Sleep.
What we know is that Kristi Noem arrived in Worland to go to a ranch outside of Ten Sleep, Wyoming for some much-needed rest and relaxation. The reason she chose the Bighorns is not just for the beauty that it offers or the activities, but for the solitude. Eyewitnesses said that Secretary Noem just arrived with her security detail, spent one night at the ranch, and then was back on her way.
Secretary Noem's jet landed at the Worland Municipal Airport at 1:30 p.m. Sunday from her home state of South Dakota. She and her Secret Service detail left Monday night at 6:30. I'll be back with more news from the Cowboy State Daily News Center right after this. Oh, look, another national expert explaining Wyoming. Bless their hearts. Look, don't rely on national experts. We do it all ourselves at Cowboy State Daily Radio. Real news for real Wyomingites who actually live here. We tell it like it is, with headlines that hit harder than a spring blizzard and commentary that cuts through all the bull. Cowboy State Daily Radio. It's Wyoming news. No filter, no fluff, no kidding.
At the Wyoming Rescue Mission, we offer more than a meal. For just $2.58, you can provide the gift of hope, a hot meal, safe shelter, and a chance at a brighter future. We will serve thousands of meals this holiday season, and each meal allows our guests to experience the true spirit of Christmas, love, hope, and new beginnings. Please give the gift of a hot meal and hope today at wyomission.org. That's wyomission.org.
Cowboy State Daily News continues now. The federal government announced Monday it's approved $205 million for the first year of Wyoming's rural health program. Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland reports that one Wyoming lawmaker is skeptical of that program.
Even though the Fed signed off on money for this package that also includes the bear care, the catastrophic insurance program that would start with public seed money, it's my understanding that the legislature still would need to issue spending authorization to the Department of Health for that. And yeah, the way the Department of Health put it is it would be a standalone option to buy catastrophic care insurance to introduce another product into the marketplace. So Representative John Baer, who also chairs the House Appropriations Committee, he said he's still not sure if the name bear care is meant as a jab at him in some way. He said, have you ever seen the government run a business efficiently?
Part of the plan has been dubbed Bear Care because it would cover catastrophic events like being attacked by a grizzly bear. The Bridger Teton Avalanche Center has logged reports of 32 avalanches in the Tetons since December 19th. Cowboy State Daily's Andrew Rossi reports that 2 skiers have survived being caught, including one on Sunday in No Name Bowl. He avoided getting buried by wearing an air pack bag.
The photo that was shown of the recovery showed that the skier was wearing basically a airbag on his person. And that's one of the many survival tools that outdoor enthusiasts or outdoor recreation enthusiasts are encouraged to keep on their person when they're out and about. The bare minimum is a shovel and a beacon that actually signals people where you are in the event you get caught in an avalanche. But this suit uses just the principles of physics to help people rise above, or at least in theory, the debris and the snow in an avalanche, so it makes it that much easier for them to recover.
Of the 32 avalanches reported, 20 were natural or triggered by explosions. And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting that daily newsletter button at cowboystatedaily.com. Have a happy 2026. I'm Mac Watson for Cowboy State Daily.
Most hiring algorithms would scream me out.
Some bosses couldn't see me as a leader.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper. I've been running code as long as I've been able to reach a keyboard.
This is what I do. It's second nature for me, coordinating 100 details at once.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
I sold them on my skills.
You gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
My magic is
analytics and empathy. That's how I'm getting clients. You have to have the confidence in yourself to show up and defy the odds.
I'm more than who I am on paper.
I never got a college degree. And today, I'm the CEO of my own company. People want to tell me I'm one in a million, when actually I'm one of millions. Stars are all around us. It's time for them to shine.
Cowboy State Daily Show, Wednesday, December 31, New Year's Eve. You got plans? Get over to the Irma if you can get there. Hurry up. They got a big dinner tonight. They're going to do it up New Year's Eve. Live entertainment. Complimentary champagne at midnight. And all the prime rib you can stuff in your face for $37.99. The Irma, famous hotel. Claire should be here. Wait, she texts and she says, ... What does that mean? It means, she's on her way. I do have somebody in the Zoom room waiting room, but they have no name. Just an icon, just those Easter Island dudes. That's not Claire, is it? That is you? Okay, that's her. I'll let you in. But I don't know how you even do that. Claire, you're so techie. It is you. You know why I didn't let you in?
Why?
Because your name on Zoom is not a name. You're just like one of those Easter Island icon caricatures.
Yeah, the children stole the good iPad.
Oh.
They're sleeping in and I have no idea where it is, so I'm on the bad iPad.
Yeah, you're on the... We were just talking about Dave Simpson and his column about how you need 3 remotes to operate the TV and only your kids know how to program them. And yeah, ask your kids how they do that, how they make their Zoom name, not even a name, but a character. I love that.
Well, this is like a super old, like decade old.
Right.
iPad. And so they had a friend over yesterday and they were playing Drawful. Have you ever played that?
No.
It's a really wonky charade style game, but everyone needs a smart device to play it.
Okay.
And like my work iPad is sacred. Like, don't touch. But I was in holiday spirits, and so I was like, sure, you can use my work iPad. I have no idea where it is. So
now look.
Yeah.
Well, even if you found it, it's out of battery. I mean, if a kid was using it, it's got 3% battery. You're on red. Well, this one's working fine. I hear you. Great. You look great as always. Bill Alleman, that's who I want to talk about.
Yeah,
here.
Let me close out of these windows. I need to shed. It's hard for me. Like, okay, we don't usually cover misdemeanors. A little news class here, a little news 101. Yeah. We don't usually cover misdemeanors unless they're very zany and there's some stuff going on and there's some bigger implications, or a public official is charged with one.
Yes.
Especially an elected official. Then we do. And so he asked, like, why is this news? And it's just because you're an elected official. Do you want to comment or be interviewed? And usually he's so happy when I call too. Like, gonna take an interview, and
yeah.
so that, I'm sorry, but it is news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm particularly interested in this story, not for the DUI aspect, because honestly, when I see that the misdemeanor charge DUI, and it's just a charge at this point, I think who among us? It's the kind of thing where, you know what? I have a DUI from the past, long ago when I was 20 and dumb. Who among us couldn't also get one? There's some people who don't drink at all, and I guess you would never get one. There's some who try to limit themselves if they're going to be driving, and I get it. And you could find yourself over the line. And I'm just saying that's not the issue, DUI. Like, that could be anyone, in my opinion. It is a couple of things. First and foremost, Michelob Ultra. Oh, there's the real crime, Representative Alleman. But okay, move on. Michelob Ultra.
If it's Koltiska, do you get a pass since that's a Wyoming?
I mean, if it was a Wyoming craft beer, I mean, yeah, maybe I'm looking a little more the other way. But and then I don't understand when the statement I drink while I drive to deal with anxiety. That was, for me, Representative Alleman, wrong. Where's my wrong button? I drink when I drive to deal with anxiety. Wrong answer.
He allegedly said that. That's according to the deputy. That's
okay.
Alleged at this juncture.
I wondered if he told you that or where that came out.
I attributed that correctly and dutifully within my story. Those I'm not sure when, because oftentimes, like, if we read a felony affidavit, it's written in narrative style. And cop grammar, but still narrative style. And misdemeanors, a lot of agencies will do kind of more of a form style, like, what did you observe? Check, check, check. What happened when he was in the car? And so that's how this one was, more form style. So, like, where I have a bulleted list, those are the things that Deputy Campbell checked next to. And so, yeah, it's not chronologically specific.
We have not talked to the particular deputy's boss. Could not be contacted by press time. The sheriff of what county is this?
Is it Johnson? And he did, after publication, he sent me an email like, I can't comment on an active investigation, and which is correct. That's standard. And a lot of times these agencies, we give the defendant, if we're able, the public defender's office doesn't like to talk to us, so we're not always able to get comment. But if we're able, we give the defendant a chance to comment. And for him, where was I going with this? So he says these things about the deputy, like, deputy was mad. And then you give the sheriff's office a chance to comment back, but these agencies don't usually like to get into that kind of back and forth.
I see that. So here's the affidavit, what Deputy Campbell observed. The typical that would lead you to a DUI charge: glassed over eyes, slurred speech, poor manual dexterity, poor balance, to the point where the deputy said he had to assist Representative Alleman to even stand, was worried that he would fall down. Belligerent attitude, that would be Representative Alleman describing he knows his rights and what his rights were. But I just don't care for, if he truly is not DUI, obviously you're going to defend yourself, but this boy seems like a whole lot of denial. Supposedly, I need to drink beer for anxiety. I have 2 bad knees. That's why I can't walk straight. I
am not going to speculate with you about anything like that. He did check the 2 knee replacements. They do that when they do field sobriety tests. They're like, okay, do you have any physical issues? Because last thing, because you don't want, like, this guy has one leg shorter than the other, and you mark that he failed the field sobriety test because of that. So they do ask. And so that's here. I'm not going to speculate about this case, though, because that's on my duty.
Yeah, I mean, bar none, Mayor Peter Boyer may have had it right when he said Representative Alleman cannot stay in his own lane. And that may be true. Stay in your lane. The whole bar none nuke issue.
I think the responsible political analysis here going forward is, and I can't speak for the people of bar none.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm a Riverton girl, born, raised, forever, lifer. I don't think a DUI is necessarily the kiss of death in Wyoming for politics.
No.
We've kept it a misdemeanor. If it's a first offense, you get a really sweet bond usually. I don't know. And I don't know if he was planning on running again anyway. I'm not sure if it's the kiss of death. Time will tell.
Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, let's, is this good news? It sounds like good news. Federal government announced Monday $205 million towards a rural health program in Wyoming that would include bear care. I thought we were looking at more like a $300 million. I might be wrong, but this is good for Wyoming, yes?
That's
maybe
subjective.
Yes.
I'm not going to say there's good or bad for Wyoming. There's stuff in there that Representative, or I guess House Appropriations Chair John Bainer certainly doesn't like. It's interesting. The Democrats of the early 90s, I just think the political polls are shifting all the time. And this bill and this project was Trump backed, and it's leading to some things that some people say would look like responsible government infrastructure. Some people would say look like socialism. It just depends whom you ask. But this whole One Big Beautiful Bill Act is a huge spending effort, backed by Republicans, passed by Republicans. I don't know. It's interesting to watch the political shifting. And it's interesting to me that that's all.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, I do agree with John Bainer, who says, when has the government ever get involved with things and made it better or less complicated or less expensive? True. But boy, we need some health insurance relief on some fronts. Some people are going to go off care in 2026. And at the very least, you'd like to know a safety net exists, like this catastrophic bear care thing. But there's more to the 200 some million for rural healthcare. The money's it's not just for that, right? It's also going.
It's not just for that. There's other stuff.
Yeah.
And I am not recalling the entire package. I skimmed through it at some point. But yeah, the common complaints out of Wyoming, besides insurance costs mounting, are OB deserts.
Yeah.
Like my sister went to Thermopolis to have a baby. We're in Riverton.
Yeah.
We're in Riverton. Like this is but
crazy.
She went to Thermopolis and has so like you're in labor and you're like scooting through this canyon with no service, but she's very chill. She's a lot more chill of a mother than I am. So I'm sure that canyon drive with no cell service wasn't hell on her husband. But yeah, that's Wyoming right now.
So I think primarily because Secretary of State Chuck Gray has made such a issue about butting heads with the governor on almost every time those two are in the same room. Secretary Gray has some comments regarding the governor, mainly cute. We know he rattles the saber like Trump against radical left and the woke and other nonsense. I thought it was because he had intentions on a governor seat, and he said he was going to wait for Hageman to see what she did. Turns out I might have been all wrong about it. We just had Secretary Gray on yesterday, and I don't know the governor was ever in his mind, but U.S. House is now. The dominoes starting to fall, and it all began with the Cynthia Lummis saying, "I'm done with this."
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to unpack that one. Yeah, radical left. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. There's people out there that, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what happened. I called him when I saw him change his Facebook page to like, Chuck Gray for Congress or whatever. Didn't take my call. Let me know that Fox News had the story, that he'd sent them a statement. And then a few minutes later, I got a statement. So I didn't get to peel apart the layers of his brain, which that's fine. You can have your favorite news sources. I have my favorite newspaper that I love to read. My husband got me a subscription for Christmas. And if I was a big political player, I would definitely. Anyway, no, I don't know. He is a persistent critic of the governor, complaining about the governor's actions for years now. The governor made kind of a sardonic underhand about it here at one of the recent executive branch meetings. And we don't know what Gordon's going to do. We don't know what Bo Biteman's going to do. We don't know what anyone's going to do. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it all plays out. Is Megan Degenfelder declare run for governor? Maybe. We know Bien and Barlow, and those are the two noteworthy names for governor. But yeah, where's Biteman? Where's Chip Nyman? It's fun.
I could see Chip Nyman winning the Senate seat, but I don't know what he's going to do either. He's a player too.
Yeah.
Like he's a big political name in Wyoming for sure.
Yeah, if you like that kind of handicapping, go read Cassie Craven's latest column concerning how all the pieces are moving around now. All kind of started with the Lummis announcement. Anything to make of President Trump's declassifying? Is that what you would call it? Reclassifying marijuana and how it may play out in Wyoming?
Yeah, so he started the process to move it to Schedule 3, which is just a big announcement. Like, this isn't so terribly addictive, and it has medicinal purposes. And that's. I was reading. Do you know who Alex Berenson is?
No.
He's a former health reporter for the New York Times, just an avid researcher. He's now a Substacker. He was widely maligned during COVID because he was the biggest critic of the COVID-19 vaccine. And he also wrote a book called Tell Your Children, which presents all this evidence of, cannabis psychosis and correlations with schizophrenia and cannabis. But anyway, what he said in his Substack, which I read, he's fascinating. He said it would have been much more intellectually honest just to legalize it than to bolster this narrative that it is medicine. And I thought that was really interesting that he's presenting this as like an underhanded way of benefiting this industry without taking over actions that people have more say in.
So, yeah, Trump, D.C. says marijuana less bad. Wyoming, so far, I don't know if it's going to move the needle in Wyoming. No indication that it has or will. We'll
see what the Attorney General does.
Yeah, Keith, find your iPad. Happy New Year.
Thanks, you too.
That's Claire McFarland, Cowboy State Daily. We'll be right back with more. Our next guest, Dylan Bainer, is here, and we're going to talk about all things Wyoming economics and demographics, stuff like that. You're going to enjoy this. Dylan's great, and we're going to do it right after this.
Let's face it, mornings are tough. Gotta get up, gotta get the kids ready, feed the dog, the cat, every other living thing in your house. Oh, get caffeinated. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But you also want to be informed, catch up on what's happening in Wyoming and the world as well. Hear from the newsmakers of the day. That's why Cowboy State Daily has The Morning Show with Jake. Jake Nichols talks about the news you care about, not some ponderous, overwrought, inside the Beltway show that's syndicated out of New York or LA. You want the news that's going to affect you and your life. Jake interviews not only the newsmakers, but the deciders, the people who make the decisions for the future of Wyoming. Plus, you'll hear the stories directly from our award-winning reporters from Cowboy State Daily. So make sure you start your day off the Wyoming way with Cowboy State Daily's Morning Show with Jake Nichols. Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Stream it on our homepage. Watch it on YouTube. Cowboy State Daily's Morning Show with Jake. Oh, and don't forget your car keys.
This is the Cowboy State Daily Radio Network.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Life's daily battles are not meant to be fought alone.
We're not powerless, so long as we don't lose sight of what's important.
Don't be afraid to seize that moment to talk to your friends.
Cloud, you okay?
Because checking in on a friend can create a safe space.
The first step on our new journey. You coming?
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
There are a lot of words I would use to describe my daughter. Kind, strong, hilarious. When I think about how much she's experienced in her life, on a journey that we're now on together as a family, we can't help but be inspired by her every day.
Hey, Mom, we're about to start the movie.
Oh, yeah, I'll be right there.
Okay.
So really, we're the lucky ones. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Cowboy State Daily Show on a Wednesday, New Year's Eve, and this will wrap it up when this day's over. When the clock strikes midnight, that's it for 2025, and we'll recap it economically right now. It's not too early to go ahead and say close the window on 2025 and talk about what it was for Wyoming economically. We'll look ahead to 2026. We'll look at the lowlights, the highlights, all that stuff. Dylan Bainer is with us. Dylan's a principal economist for the state of Wyoming. I love the website, Dylan. There's so much here, so much data, whether you're looking for just the facts, charts, and graphs, or job listings, or economic and demographics data. It's all there. There's tons of stuff. So let's see. Beginning with, before we talk about what happened in 2025, let me ask you something, because I was looking at all these charts and graphs and stuff, and in almost all these charts, like looking over the last decade when it concerned economics, anything economics in Wyoming, there's a huge anomaly in like 2019, 2020, 2020, like dips, like numbers and graphs and stuff that don't make sense. And I'm like, oh yeah, the pandemic, COVID. Can we possibly overstate how impacting that was? I mean, that was crazy. We never see anything like that as far as what it did to the economy. And we're still recovering, certainly in the mining sector.
Yeah, no, Jake, I think you nailed it right on the head there. Yeah, the economy obviously globally and the U.S. as a whole took a huge hit during the pandemic, but Wyoming even more, I think so in some ways because of our reliance and our intertwinedness with the mineral industry. At one point oil prices dropped to negative, and so when you talk about state revenues from minerals, then oil prices are negative. That's not going to do so well for our state revenues. And so, like you said, it's been a long road over the last 5 years, still recovering, getting jobs back. That drop, like I said, in those charts, that kind of just almost like a V, just bang, just hit that big drop in the economy. And so, it's unprecedented drop, and we're still just getting back to pre-COVID levels of things such as employment.
Yeah, it was like 2022. You started seeing things come back, get back. But the mining industry lagging way behind in its comeback. And then the double whammy of now you have the Biden administration, and that kind of put a real damper on oil, gas, coal, energy in Wyoming. But now, 2025, Dylan, is it too soon to see any positivity regarding Wyoming's big revenue generators, and that's oil and gas, and the new administration in there saying kind of drill, baby, drill? Is it too early yet to see numbers move up? Is that going to be more in 26, or what have we seen so far in this year?
Right. Yes, I think in terms of that, I don't think there's any secret to anybody. Like you said, the new administration is certainly more favorable towards fossil fuels, which helps, Wyoming tremendously. I mean, getting, more operations up and going, more state revenue that leads to, more ripple effects, more money in people's pockets, more jobs, more people going to restaurants. And so that in itself, I think has a real positive effect on the economy. In terms of state revenues, there are a couple different things going on. So with drill, baby, drill, that creates a lot more supply, a lot more domestic supply, a lot more global supply. And so you've seen recently in the last couple months, even towards the latter stages of this year, oil prices have started to drop a bit. And that's, because of just the large amount of supply in the global economy. And so that's, it's great to have more drilling activities for the state in one hand, but then the lower oil price on the other hand leads to, it can lead to lower state revenues, and the fact that we, get severance taxes and stuff like that from overall value of the mineral, which includes the price times, how much is being produced. And so there's that. And on the other hand, when oil prices go down, though, that means gas prices go down, which I certainly enjoy. I'm sure we all enjoy that. And so it's always like kind of a double-edged sword in terms of it's good on this hand for Wyoming's economy, but on the other hand, it can be a little bit of a down.
Yeah, it's super complex, and maybe only people like you and other economists can understand it. But yeah, I would assume it should be as simple as if you're flooding the market with oil, if you got a very pro-energy nation now in the U.S. And did we not, the U.S., didn't we have a last year, or is it 24 or 25 we're going to call last year, where the U.S. led the globe in oil production, or no?
I believe that's true. I have to double check that to be 100% sure, but I believe that's true. Like you said, I think just the amount of domestic production that the U.S. has done in terms of oil has just gone up tremendously, obviously since the new administration. But another part of, I guess, on the other hand, is we have, oil, natural gas, coal. Natural gas prices have been going up and up, especially in 2025 and the later stages of 25. And that's been because, I think in large part due to the kind of the AI boom, if you want to call it. Just so much electricity, so much energy is demanded to run these, AI data centers and whatnot. And so that's, led to just huge increases of demand in natural gas. And so that's certainly been a positive for Wyoming's revenue.
Yeah, that's a big way Wyoming makes electricity is natural gas. Now, there can be, other ways. Obviously, the sustainable energy. It could be hydro. It could be wind, solar. But, I mean, Wyoming's sitting on a ton of natural gas. That's how we make our electricity for the most part. As far as oil, it's weird because now, you have an administration saying, go ahead and drill. We're going to make it easier. We're going to fast track all these projects. We're going to get back to oil. And yet when oil's at 50 something a barrel, dollar wise, you got the companies saying, well, let's not get in too much of a rush. And then, the positive is the revenue for the state and the fact that when you go to fill up your Subaru, it's not quite as painful if it all works right. But does it?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think it's just always an interesting part when you deal with just, I guess, the global oil economy, but as well as Wyoming is, like you said, there's almost that balancing act where, the new administration has, a bunch of incentives, royal or rate drops on federal land, stuff like that to incentivize increased drilling. And that's happened. But then when that price drops, producers and Wyoming producers especially are, like, wait a second, I, need a certain price per barrel to break even or to make some money. And so it's almost like, we want to drill a lot, but we also want to sell it at a good price for both the producers and for the state's revenue.
Dylan Bainer is a principal economist for the state of Wyoming. We're kind of recapping 2025. Let's look at some of the more negative or the lesser things we're proud of that happened in 2025. And I'm thinking about your website. I'm looking at stuff like cost of living index, housing inflation, statewide inflation, 4.2%. Maybe we have new data. Maybe you have some updates to this, but housing was up, apparel was up, almost everything. Is it in line with the U.S. inflation, or is Wyoming really feeling it worse, cost of living wise?
I think in general it's in line. But I think you nailed it with the, I think that's kind of been the headline basically ever since the pandemic is, we've got this recovery and obviously stimulus and whatnot, but it's just led to inflation. And then, some of the tariff talk with all of that news with the new administration, that's, could lead to inflation with things being more expensive to bring into the country. Then who pays that? Is it the producer? Is it the seller? Is it, some of it ends up coming to us. And so, I think, inflation is a big topic. And especially I think in nationwide, an interesting trend is forming where you look at some of the metrics, consumer spending, stock market, those are both amazing, looking great. But those are more being driven by higher income earners, where if you look at lower income earners, we have some national surveys and looking at consumer sentiment and their views of the economy, those are at pretty low levels. And so it's kind of you look at just some of the bigger macro numbers, you think stock market good, consumers are still spending, but that's being driven a lot by higher income earners, and lower income earners certainly feel the effects of inflation a lot more. And so that's hurting them more than higher income earners.
Yeah, it makes it trickier, I would imagine, if it's somebody like you doing your job, an economist. Dylan Bainer is the principal economist for the state. Something like this, this so-called K-shaped economy where in some ways it seems really good. Wyoming has a bit of a K-shaped economy going on. Teton is on the part of the K that's going up, and Crook County might be on the part of the K that's going. It's more than just taking some data. You really got to look into things a little deeper, right, Dylan?
Yeah, no, you absolutely do. And like I said, you nailed it with the K-shaped economy. Because if you just look at just the overall macro numbers, you might not see the whole story. But when you look at the K-shaped economy and things like I said, maybe with Teton, with things like housing prices keep going up for those higher income earners that have, a nice house, you're like, great, my biggest asset is worth more now. But for lower income earners who are maybe trying to buy a house, you're like, this is, really hard to afford, and my bills are harder to pay, and it's stuff at the stores more, and it's just like, this is just kind of like I said, this K-shape, this dichotomy where higher income earners are maybe benefiting from this booming stock market and house prices, and lower income earners are not so much.
Yeah. So in your what do you notice? What did you notice? What did the department notice in 2025? What are some of the highlights, lowlights, some things that stood out to you as unusual or things that were usual? I don't know. Recap 25 for us.
Certainly, yeah. I think some of the highlights will start with employment, total employment in the state continue to increase, although at a slower rate than the last few years. Again, it's just getting those jobs back from the economy slowly. But we finally were able, I think we were this year hit levels that haven't been seen in 10 years. And so I think the overall employment is certainly getting to a healthier level. Unemployment rate, healthy level, stays low. State revenues for minerals performed in line in fiscal year 2025 with what we kind of expected, even slightly better. I think that was, partially due to some higher natural gas prices, higher coal production, nothing, crazy. I think maybe the long-term trend of coal is still the same, but higher coal production than we expected. I think, again, that's partially because of the AI stuff and just more demand for electricity, as well as when natural gas prices get to a certain point, then power plants might switch over to coal more, just to substitute to a cheaper option, even if it's not the preferred option.
Yeah.
And so I think those are some of the highlights. Some of the lower lights might be, like you said, in terms of just mining employment itself. That recovery appears to, from the pandemic, is maybe it hasn't come back to pre-COVID levels, and it might not. And that's partially because of, as time goes on, these mining operations become more efficient, and that's, I think, to be expected. With technological advancements, it just requires less people to get the same amount of production. So that metric is one, and then as a result, we've had lower mining sales and use tax collections. But again, that's an efficiency thing. Less materials, less things required to get that rig maybe up and going, and so those are a couple of things that haven't fully come back to the levels that we maybe would have seen before the pandemic.
Yeah, that makes sense. You need less tool pushers out there if you can drill horizontally 4 miles under the earth. I mean, the tech advances have good and bad benefits. What about 2026, the outlook? Any clouds on the horizon, or does it look pretty sunny?
Yeah, I think heading into 2026, a lot of good things. I said employment is still high, low unemployment, so the labor market seems to be at a pretty healthy point. I think the one thing that we'll be looking at especially is that oil price. Like I said, we've been talking about, it's been kind of going down. I think it's in the last month or so been in the high 50s, and so we haven't seen that level since I think around the pandemic. It's been around 70, even 80 the last few years, and so I think how the globe reacts, to all the supply, and I think that's certainly one thing that we're all keeping a close eye on. And then, like I said, with the AI stuff just continually booming and developing, that's at least currently seems like a great spot in terms of Wyoming's natural gas. So I think that's another thing that we can look for on the positive side, maybe offset some of that potential loss in terms of maybe if oil prices do stay that low, maybe natural gas prices, and can help offset that in terms of state revenues.
Dylan Bainer, principal economist. If you want to dive deep into the numbers, and I don't, but if you're one of those people who aren't put off or scared off by the numbers, tell me the website. I'm on the website, so I ought to know, right? ai.wyo.gov, and then you get into the Wyoming Administrative and Information. The website's got just a wealth of stuff. For me, I love the easy color 2-page snapshot. I love Wyoming Insight, the Economic Analysis Division, the Wyoming Insight, and how often does that come out? And that's a real easy snapshot at the numbers. You can kind of get a gauge of where we are economically as a state.
Exactly, yeah. So Wyoming Insight, we release that every month, usually within probably in between the second week of each month. Once we get all the new data in from the previous month, then we release that. And like you said, that's just a snapshot every month of kind of the major economic indicators, energy indicators, oil price, natural gas, coal production, employment, sales tax collections, just to kind of get a gauge of the overall economic activity and the important indicators for our state.
Well, Dylan, thanks for all the work you do. Tonight at midnight, some of us will be reveling, and Dylan's going to be putting a bow on 2025, like crunching the numbers in front of his computer. Maybe. I don't know. Dylan, have a great new year, however you do it.
You too, Jake. Thanks. Happy New Year.
Okay, buddy. Dylan Bainer, principal economist, Wyoming. We're taking a look at 2025, things to be happy for, excited for, and in the new year, 2026 as well. Jared Petrino is going to be on here. We'll talk UW sports after
JB
this.
Hunt now has CDLA truck driving jobs in the Cheyenne area, and they're hiring Class A drivers for a local dedicated route. Drivers can make $78,000 a year and be home every night. Plus, medical benefits after 30 days on the job, also earning paid time off on your first day, and enjoy other perks like a company-matched 401k. As a company founded by a truck driver, JB Hunt is driven for you. So head to drivejbhunt.com to see the JB Hunt difference. That's drivejbhunt.com. In Wyoming, you want news from folks who still shake hands and mean it. You just want the facts. That's why more Wyomingites listen to Cowboy State Daily Radio. News that doesn't bend, twist, or dance around the truth. Crisscrossing the state to cover the news the way you like it, with reporters steps away from the Capitol in Cheyenne and in your hometown. No spin, no corporate suits, no duh. Talking about your state. This is Cowboy State Daily Radio.
You're listening to the Cowboy State Daily Radio Network.
Who can you turn to for news you can trust? Your local TV and radio broadcasters. You trust us to keep you safe during times of crisis and to deliver the weather, sports, and entertainment you rely on every day. We bring you the facts you need to make decisions that matter. And as misinformation floods social media, you can trust your local stations to deliver the truth. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress you rely on your local stations for trusted news.
You handle the healthcare, we'll handle the marketing. In need of a spark for marketing your medical practice? Loom Studio provides creative and strategic healthcare marketing that illuminates the path to bigger and better experiences for your business and your patients. We specialize in branding and design, social media, website design, SEO and SCM, not to mention content creation, public and media relations, and marketing metrics to ensure you're getting results. If you're looking to increase your patient engagement and retention, enhance your community impact, and streamline your marketing efforts, our team is ready to help you achieve your goals. Contact us today and learn more at loomstudio.com.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. My service never stops.
Refreshing Wednesday. Before all the hectic chaos of tonight, New Year's Eve, you got your plans made? You know what parties you're going to get to, what shows you're going to see, where you're going to have dinner. Maybe you're just going to spend the night quiet night at home and watch the end of Stranger Things. That drops, what is it? I think 6 o'clock Mountain Time. Final episode of Stranger Things. I'm a huge fan. I don't know how anybody can not be on the Stranger Things train. It's all I see everywhere. Maybe I'm seeing the world through Stranger Things colored glasses, but it's everywhere. It's in my social media feed. Stranger Things this, Stranger Things that, speculation on how it's going to end, what the twist is going to be, and All the actors on the show have made the rounds. They're on every night talk show for the last 2-3 weeks. Stranger Things. You can't even turn on a football game without seeing Stranger Things. Christmas. Netflix carried an NFL game. Which brings up a whole nother topic about how many different carriers are doing NFL football now. I mean, you got Amazon. Prime is doing the Thursday night game. I forget who's doing Sunday night, Monday night, Sunday afternoon. And then you got games, specialized one-off games that are on Netflix. Or I need subscriptions to like a dozen providers just to watch football anymore. Anyway, when's the Netflix? 6 o'clock? 6 p.m. Netflix. Okay. Jared, I don't know where Jared Petrino is. We're going to talk about UW sports. In particular, we were going to look at, the stupid transfer portal. And we're going to do a little basketball. The men won a game yesterday. The boys, the men just played. Wyoming Cowboys. They used the 3-ball, which means they made a lot of baskets from far away. And they were good at the charity stripe. 18 straight free throws helped seal the deal against Air Force. Wyoming gets its first road win of the year, its first conference win of the year. 68-56 road win at Air Force. That was yesterday afternoon at Clune Arena on the campus of the United States Air Force Academy. UW's pretty good team. They have an explosive offense, and Wyoming really chilled them. 68-56 the final. With the win, UW moves to 10-3 overall, 1-1 in conference play. It was again Naz leading the way, the true freshman. I think he might be a redshirt freshman. I hope this kid sticks around. If he declares he's getting in the portal and he's going to transfer, then I'm so done with NIL. I'd be so mad. To me, if Naz leaves the basketball program at UW, and I don't even want to put that thought into the atmosphere, I don't want to speak that idea into truth. But, anytime anybody does good in sports in Laramie, that's the first thing we're going to think. How long can we keep this kid before he decides he wants to go to USC or Alabama or somewhere else? How much money are we going to have to pay him, and where is it going to come from? That's a horrible way to go about thinking about sports in college. I hope he sticks around because he's pretty good. Caden Anderson, the quarterback who's marginally good, he's leaving. Now, what can his excuse possibly? I don't think that's a money-driven decision, honestly. Caden Anderson, highly touted out of high school at Lakewood, Texas, at a high school program that churns out college and pro athletes like regular. If you're looking for the next big quarterback in the NFL, go to a 17-year-old in Lakewood, Texas. They got a program. The scouts watch their games regularly. And Caden Anderson was supposed to be all that. And then he tore up his knee. And suddenly TCU wasn't that interested anymore. Suddenly all the big schools like, Caden Anderson, I don't know, he's hurt. Moving on. UW, just like Josh Allen, said, we'll wait for him to heal. We still see potential in Caden Anderson. Nobody else wanted him, and we took him. We got him. And during his 21 games, UW, it was kind of mid. I mean, started all 12 games last season, his first real season as the starter. He threw for almost 2,000 yards, 12 TDs. That's the good news. Bad news is he completed just 56% of his passes. Not great. And too many of his passes were completed to the team wearing the other uniform. 10 interceptions, 3 lost fumbles. Turnovers were the problem, and continued injuries, the knee and the other knee. I think he hurt both his knees. And he was only a sophomore. So Caden Anderson didn't exactly light it up for the Pokes, yet he wants out. Declared for the portal just a few days ago. He makes that now 14 total former Cowboys who are leaving the program. And this, to me, none of these decisions are necessarily money-based. None of these kids are going to get paid to play football at the collegiate level. Marky Grant, Caleb Merritt, not really. These are, not even starters in the secondary. Junior safety Justin Taylor, the latest to declare he wants out. So the whole Cowboys secondary has been gutted. They're all gone. They're all leaving. From Tyrese Boss, who was a starter, Marky Grant, Caleb Merritt, Justin Taylor. They all want out. That's the whole secondary. Gone. Starting wide receiver Chris Durr Jr. He's actually pretty good. He's leaving. Defensive tackle Lucas Samsula. He's gone. The 2-week window officially opens next Friday. And we'll see who really is transferring out. But 14 now have declared that they want out of Laramie, out of Wyoming Cowboy football. None of those names, with the possible exception of Chris Durr, is in line to receive any name, image, and likeness money. Chris Durr is his nil value is nil. I mean, this guy's not on the radar. Neither is Caden Anderson. Caden is not leaving because some other D1 program wants to pay him a ton of money to play. I don't think he's leaving for the pocketbook. He's just leaving because Wyoming doesn't pass a lot. The offense is stagnant. Now, was that Caden Anderson's fault? Partially. Is it the offensive coordinator? Partially. We got a new one now, Christian Taylor, who comes out of the Buffalo Bill program. And he's brought to Laramie specifically to call plays and to work with quarterbacks, develop quarterbacks. But Caden Anderson's leaving, and it's not for money. I can't think, because I can't imagine any school would be waving a lot of dollars at him. He simply doesn't have the resume. He didn't do that much in Wyoming to make him worth a whole lot. But that's not all that drives the whole transferring. That's not all that drives, I want to go in the portal, I want to leave here and go there. A lot of it is you just, the day and age where you cash in your wife or you make changes in your life because you don't like it. Nobody sticks it out. I don't like this school. I don't like the play calling. I don't like the coach. I don't like my wide receivers. I'm out. Yeah. The girls, women's basketball, they played today, a New Year's Eve game. Wyoming Cowgirls return from the holiday break with a conference road game today, Wednesday afternoon in New Mexico. Cowgirls Lobos tip off at 1 o'clock Mountain Time live from Albuquerque. Good luck, Cowgirls. Get a win. What a way to close out 25, huh? Get a win. Well, even with all the uncertainties in the college football landscape, I can give you one certainty. I'm not going to forecast a bowl game or a bowl winner. I'm not going to forecast what players are going to leave their college and go to another one. But I can guarantee with certainty the new Michigan coach, the new coach of Michigan, is going to have an 80-year-old grandma for a personal assistant. Remove temptation. That's a guarantee from Jake. Cowboy State Daily Show with Jake continues. We got one more hour to go in the New Year's Eve edition. Happy New Year, and thanks for spending the morning with us. Time for news.
It's time to take a look at what's happening around Wyoming. From the Cowboy State Daily News Center, I'm Mac Watson. The judge overseeing a small claims dispute has dismissed the case in which the ex-boyfriend of State Representative Nina Weber was suing her. Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland reports the judge dismissed the case with prejudice.
The judge dismissed with prejudice, meaning altogether, the claim by Representative Nina Weber's ex-boyfriend that she owed him $6,000 for an African safari hunting ticket. And the ex-boyfriend, Scott Weber, the last names are spelled differently, but he told me that he's going to appeal. So on the one hand, you have the ex-boyfriend like, she concocted this story, we're going to appeal this. And the judge, meanwhile, said, no, Representative Weber's story is believable, that she did not intend to go on this trip or have this ticket bought in her name because she was scared of Zimbabwe after the last hippo hunt.
Now, the crux of the case was whether Nina Weber and Scott Weber had a verbal or other contract in which he was to buy her more than a $6,000 plane ticket to a Zimbabwe hunting safari, and she was to reimburse him later. Patricia Wire, founder of Broken Bandit Wildlife Center outside of Cheyenne, has seen many animals come and go at her wildlife rescue center. Cowboy State Daily's Mark Hines reports her most heartwarming tale of 2025 is that of a mama raccoon who lost her babies, trashed a pickup in her angst, but then got a second chance.
Someone in Cheyenne found 4 raccoon babies in their boat, and so they called a critter catcher. You know, that's a person that specializes in capturing small wildlife for people. He came and got the 4 babies and took them out to Broken Bandit, and they just assumed, well, the mom must have taken off. Well, it turns out the mom was still alive and was hanging around the property, and she freaked out and ended up tearing the guy's pickup pretty badly, I guess, like his windshield wipers and the liner, you know, the rubber lining on his windshield and that. Critter catcher came back out again and captured mama and got reunited with their babies, and I guess they spent some time out of Broken Bandit till the babies got big enough, and then they sent them back loose in the wild.
Wire tells Cowboy State Daily that she's had all kinds of critters brought to her in the facility, including skunks, draft horses, foxes, and a zebra. I'll be back with more news from the Cowboy State Daily News Center right after this.
At the Wyoming Rescue Mission, we offer more than a meal. For just $2.58, you can provide the gift of hope. A hot meal, safe shelter, and a chance at a brighter future. We will serve thousands of meals this holiday season, and each meal allows our guests to experience the true spirit of Christmas, love, hope, and new beginnings. Please give the gift of a hot meal and hope today at wyomission.org. That's wyomission.org.
Cowboy State Daily News continues now. Jackson Hole buyers often have to choose between Grand Valley views or seclusion. But Cowboy State Daily's Renee Jean reports that there's a home on Trader Road that is a rare exception, being secluded with a view.
This is just the coolest home in Jackson Hole. What makes this home a little different from others? There's the buyer who wants to be up on top of the hill, looking down on the world, looking down on creation kind of thing. And then the other kind of buyer is a little more practical, wants to be in the valley, wants to be able to use their land. But this 2540 Trader Road is that rare place that kind of gives you the best of both worlds. And that's because it is up on an elevation. So there are places where you can see down, look, you know, the big landscape, the big valley view from your windows. But it also is nestled into a little aspen forest.
The 7,800 square foot, 4-bedroom, 5-bath home was among a wave of homes that were built starting in the late 1990s and has been extensively remodeled in 2020. Dick Nelson was 12 years old when he came to Wyoming Territory in 1887 and spent 45 years watching shootouts as a railroad man. Cowboy State Daily's Jackie Dorothy reports Nelson also earned a reputation early as having ice in his veins, not even flinching when Texas cowhands shot at him.
Dick Nelson is a colorful character who kind of flew under the radar. He didn't make the newspapers. He wasn't famous, but he saw everything happening in Wyoming as it became a territory into a state. Nelson grew up in an age when the railroad towns were rough and wild. He witnessed everything from shootings to hangings, and he survived it to be able to share those stories when he was in his 80s and his 90s.
Dick Nelson's great-great-grandson, Drew Hester, is keeping the family legacy alive, working on the family's generational ranch in Wyoming. And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting that daily newsletter button at cowboystatedaily.com. Happy New Year. I'm Mac Watson for Cowboy State Daily.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Welcome back from news. Final hour of the Cowboy State Daily Show. Final Cowboy State Daily Show for 2025. You got to get used to writing 26 on your checks. Who's writing checks anymore anyway? Nobody. I've already started in the 26 mindset. I'm already there. Like there was a few times in this past month or so that I already thought it was 2026. I'm there in mind and spirit. I'll be there for sure by midnight tonight. Hey, big thanks to Doug Kelly for coming on earlier in the show. He's the CEO of American Edge Project. We talked about the artificial intelligence, the race to kind of own that, to stake our flag in it. As far as the U.S. and China, the two front-running countries trying to be out there on the latest breakthrough in AI. Who's going to own AI? If China does, there's the fear that their lack of transparency, their censorship, it will be a different kind of artificial intelligence world. U.S. needs to get there first, and we're on the way. Wyoming's building the data centers. We're getting there. Ryan Semerad was here, the Wyoming trial attorney, talking about his letter to the editor. Mike Darby stopped in. Mike's he and his family own the famed Irma Hotel in Cody, and they got some big New Year's Eve plans cooked up for tonight. Still a chance to get in. They got a huge dining room. They seat about 300. They already have well over 100 reservations, but still room for you to get in there for dinner tonight. Dinner and dancing. They got live entertainment. And it's still a select few rooms available at the Irma as well. If you find yourself in the Cody area, highly suggest you stop in, see Mike, and spend the night. A wild night. Close out 25 at the Irma Hotel, famous, built by Buffalo Bill Cody in 1902, named for his youngest daughter, Irma. Dylan Bainer was here. He's chief economist, principal economist for Wyoming. And we talked about some of the highlights, lowlights of 2025 as far as the economy. So much of it energy related, obviously oil, gas, and coal for Wyoming. And we talked a few things that we can expect in 2026. It was great to have him on. We got to have Dylan on more often and talk about economy stuff. And coming up, Sheriff Brian Kozak will be here, Sheriff of the Laramie County. And we'll talk about efforts made by his office, his department concerning ICE, work with ICE. He's got 30 or more deputies that are cross-trained, that are trained in partnership with ICE to work immigration stuff. And obviously it's New Year's Eve, so Sheriff Kozak will tell you, don't drink and drive. Don't even think about it. That'll be coming up. Meanwhile, let's take a look at this day in history. We haven't had a chance to get to it. This day, duh, you don't even have to check your calendar. You ought to know. It's December 31st, New Year's Eve day. 1600 this day, the British East India Company was formed by royal charter. On this day, 1600, it would be dissolved in 1874, but the British East India Company was formed in 1600 on this day. 1871, territorial legislature authorized the formation of militia companies. It was the birth of today's Wyoming National Guard. 1871 this day. 1890, what a party it was. New Year's Eve ball held in Casper Town Hall. It would benefit the Casper Cornet Band. 1890, they were swinging into the new year in Casper. USS Wyoming made the President flagship on this day in 1912. In 1925 this day, the legendary Swan Land and Cattle Company issued its corporate holdings report for the year. December 31st, 1941, Big Piney, Pinedale, Knowood, and Star Valley became the first Wyoming conservation districts when their certifications for organization were signed by Wyoming Secretary of State at that time, Lester Hunt. This day, 1950, Frank Barrett resigned from the U.S. House of Representatives, where he had been Wyoming's congressman, in order to take office as governor. In 1952, on this day, the 187th Fighter Bomber Squadron, Wyoming Air National Guard, by the way, released from active service. During their service in Korea, 9 of the 187th pilots were lost in conflict. 1974 this day, private U.S. citizens were allowed to buy and own gold for the first time in more than 40 years. December 31st, 1976, Wyoming was hit by a statewide blizzard. Also this day in 2012, a severe cold snap gripped the state on the last day in 2012. No such cold front today. 1978 this day, Clifford Hansen, who was leaving his office as U.S. Senator, officially resigned this day, thereby allowing his successor, Alan Cooey Simpson, to have Hansen's seniority by virtue of a short appointment to replace him. Elsewhere on this day, things that happened outside of Wyoming, to 1695. I thought this was so fascinating, I had to go look it up further. 1695, England. A window tax is imposed. A window tax is kind of what you could guess it is. It was a tax on how many windows your home had. You were taxed per window. It was introduced by King William III. It was designed to, of course, generate government revenue. particularly after losses from currency reform and in order to avoid a direct income tax, which was considered a non-starter, even for England at the time. Now, remember, the United States came into being, America came into being primarily because of religious freedoms not offered in England and taxation, the taxing of everything in England. And the people got sick of it, jumped on the Mayflower, and got the heck over here where there wasn't any taxes. King William III, this is how out of hand taxes are. There was an actual tax on windows. And what it did is it caused many household owners, and particularly landlords, building owners, to brick up their windows to avoid the tax. The tax involved just a window if you could, see out a window. So to avoid the tax, people would brick up their windows. And what that led to, not surprisingly, is illness. There was, living poorly ventilated living conditions with these bricked up buildings contributed to the spread of diseases like typhus, cholera, becoming a serious public health issue. That was the consequences of the window tax introduced on this day in 1695. And by the way, that tax hung around for 155 years. It was finally repealed in 1851 following pressure from doctors who said it wasn't healthy and social reformers, including a guy named Charles Dickens. Yeah, a window tax on this day in 1695. I found that just fascinating. There's no end to things that the kings of England would think of that we could tax. Hey, we can tax windows. All these things happen this day, December 31st, and this day in history. What's going to happen December 31st, 2025? Are you going to make history? Hopefully not bad history. Regulate your drinking. We're going to talk about the dangers of drinking and driving and all that when Sheriff Kozak comes on. Meanwhile, first, let's check out rodeo.
Hi, and welcome to the Rodeo Roadshow. I'm Will Rasmussen on the Western Ag Network from Gillette, Wyoming, and the New Year's Eve Buck and Ball. It's a huge rough stock event to ring out the new year. Today, we welcome back Jake Long, the new world champion heeling team roper. Some perspective on the night that was the night he found out he won a world title. Jake Long on the Roadshow, coming up next.
It's more than a convention. It's where the cattle industry comes together. CattleCon 2026 is heading to downtown Nashville, February 3rd through February 5th. Gain insights from top cattle industry experts, connect with fellow producers, and take part in shaping the future of our business. Plus, world-class entertainment and inspiring keynote speakers. Whether you're there for the business, the education, or the good times, CattleCon is where it all comes together. Register today at convention.ncda.org.
The holidays are finally here, and the Western Ag Network is spreading some Christmas cheer across farm and ranch country. Whether you're feeding livestock, hauling grain, or just heading down the highway or country road, we want to thank you for tuning in all year long. From our team to your family, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Here's to a safe and joyful holiday season and a strong start to the year ahead. From your friends here at the Western Ag Network.
You've been there 15 times to the NFR. Every year you go to the NFR, you have a chance, with the money, and you won the average last year and so close to a world title. You say you came to terms with the fact that it may not ever happen, but is there any kind of a monkey off your back, or is this just icing on the cake of a tremendous career?
I think both, honestly. It's definitely something that you think about. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to kind of get every title that we all chase as far as the major jackpots and stuff, and obviously get to go to the finals a lot. And so, again, great career, nothing to really hang my head about or be upset about. But it definitely is something that you wanted to get marked off the list. And so I think it's definitely icing on the cake, but for me, it is a lot of kind of, I guess for lack of a better term, kind of pressure lifted off of, like, you don't have to stress about trying to get that title anymore. You're obviously going to want to win it every time you get out there and get a chance, but there's not going to be a pressure looming on it.
World champion team roper Jake Long of Coffeyville, Kansas. World champion. Happy New Year. On the Rodeo Roadshow, I'm Will Rasmussen on the Western Ag Network.
This is the Cowboy State Daily Morning Show with Jake.
That's the way to end the year, right? At the Gillette, at the New Year's Eve Buck and Ball. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's doors open tonight, 5 o'clock. It's rodeo kicks off at 7, live concert featuring Trismunsik and the Innocents beginning at 9:30. They're going to do it up in Gillette. Big rodeo, the final rodeo of the calendar year, but a new rodeo for the upcoming year that is rodeo now that the national finals already happened. So a big night, the 23rd annual Kissick Water and Oils New Year's Eve Buck and Ball in Gillette, 23rd annual. Tickets, too late to get them, sold out event, but they're going to rodeo in Gillette to close out 2025. We're going to talk to Sheriff Brian Kozak next after these.
Welcome to The Jake Show on Cowboy State Daily, Wyoming's daily dose of raw, unfiltered, and occasionally uncomfortable truth.
I don't do talking points. I do reality.
No spin, no fluff, just Jake. Local issues, national nonsense, and zero BS. It's truth, sarcasm, and grit, shaken, not stirred.
I just call it like I see it, and I see a lot of Let's just say I see a lot.
From the capital to the county fair, if it matters to Wyoming, Jake's got something to say, and he's not asking permission.
The West was built by people who weren't afraid to speak up. I'm just keeping the tradition alive.
The Jake Show, weekdays on CowboyStateDaily.com and wherever you get your dose of reality.
Not for the easily rattled, perfect for everyone else.
This is the Cowboy State Daily Radio Network.
Nestled between Casper Mountain and the North Platte River, you'll find the heart of Wyoming, with a bustling downtown centered around our outdoor haven. Casper is for adventurers, freedom seekers, and rule breakers who find beauty off the beaten path. So if touchable history, a vibrant community, and uninterrupted outdoor recreation define your travel itinerary, allow us to welcome you to the one and only Casper, Wyoming. Plan your trip at visitcasper.com.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far. A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
State Daily Show, Wednesday, December 31st. The countdown begins. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, ball drop. Cue Auld Lang Syne. End of 2025. How many hours left in the year? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm so bad at math. Not many. Not as many as there were an hour ago. Here's the stories, recap of the stories of 2025. Some of them are hard to recollect because they go all the way back to the beginning. In fact, I think this is the best way to do it, is to just read. I'm looking at this chart, and we'll go through the stories of, the top stories of the month, January of 25, February, March, April, and see if we can remember and if we agree that those were indeed the top stories. But first, we got to get into the Zoom room and welcome in Sheriff Kozak.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Look, you're up early. Didn't you work all night last night?
No, I'm going to go to work tonight.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
You're going to start the day, New Year's Eve, warning people don't drink and drive, and you're going to end the night saying, I told you so.
That's right.
Hopefully not too many cases of that. Before we get into the New Year's Eve, the NYEPSA from every county in Wyoming, certainly from Laramie County. I want to talk about some of the success stories of 2025 for you and the county, and particularly with the ICE training. How is that coming along, that project, and the whole partnership, the 287G? How are you using it? I know as far as the traffic stop, you're getting bad truckers off the road. Word is out. If you don't have a CDL and you're not from the United States and shouldn't be here, don't drive your truck through Laramie County.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The word is out. And so we've heard from the legal truck drivers. They're pretty happy about it because some of these illegal truck drivers were taking jobs from them because they're undercutting them, because they don't have the proper licensing and their trucks aren't safe. They're not maintaining their trucks. So we've been going out after that unsafe conditions, and it's been successful. So you're exactly right. The word's gotten out. And so we're getting fewer and fewer now than what we used to when we started.
That's good news. But still seeing occasionally, that bad trucker show up. Mostly we've been talking about putting the efforts in as far as this ICE thing. Give me an idea how many deputies now you have sworn in as ICE partners. What is it? What do you call it? It's like 20, 30 or more? I don't know.
Yeah, it's 28 deputies are 287G certified.
Yeah.
So they went through all the training and are fully certified to ask immigration questions and then to make an arrest if they have probable cause.
And here's what it looks like. 287G is what we're calling it. This is not like kicking down the doors ICE stuff. You have said from the beginning, Sheriff Kozak, I'm not coming to your home. I'm not coming to your job site. We're in the regular order of policing. If we find out you're in the country illegally, guess what? That we're going to tack that onto the list.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So our deputies have to have a violation of state law to make contact, and then if that leads into an immigration investigation, then we will pursue the truth on that. But we're not doing sweeps. We're not going to people's homes or workplaces. Strictly criminal alien enforcement. And so far, since we started October 1st, we have turned over 120 criminal aliens over to ICE. Some of them pretty serious. So serious gang members. We had one criminal alien that was released, did some time for murder and selling drugs, and had no crossed our border illegally when he came to the country. He got convicted, went to prison, was released. Should not be in our country. So those are the kind of people we're going after.
Yeah. I mean, not all of them are taking your life, but they might be taking your job, whatever. They're not in the country the right way. Some have done it the right way, and this disrespects all of that, all that process. So New Year's Eve, Sheriff, Is it any more the biggest night for law enforcement? Have people gotten the message like, if you're going to drink and drive, it's not going to be tonight, amateur night, or is it still a problem?
Oh, it's still a problem. I've been doing this a long time. New Year's Eve is always a big problem. It's right up there with St. Patrick's Day as another big problem night. But, I think some people are getting the message because you see a lot of Ubers out. You see a lot of cars staying in the bar parking lot, which is what we want.
Yeah.
People getting a ride home, having a designated driver. But there are still knuckleheads, and those are the people we're going to get tonight for sure.
Yeah. Come on. You've got to have the message by now. Yep. I forgot to ask you the first question I was going to ask you, because I already know the answer, and we'll see if we're on the same page for this. In your many years in law enforcement, and you began in the 80s in Arizona, you've done the job in Colorado, Cheyenne's police chief, and now elected sheriff in 2022. And all the years, when you pull somebody over for, weaving around, can't stay in their lane, suspected under the influence, what is the standard answer for how many drinks have you had tonight?
Oh, come on. We all know the answer to that one. Two. Yeah.
Yeah. And that
I had one guy once, I said, come on, man, you had more than that. You're really drunk. And he said, no, just two. I said, no way, you had more than that. And he goes, 2 cases.
There you go. Yeah, you got to see how big were those drinks when they blow
exactly.
at 2-4, you're like, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, we can't.
Remember last year we had that. We did a scientific study with Rod Miller. Remember that last year?
Yes. Yeah. Rod has still not forgotten that. He cannot operate a lawnmower after a case. Or no, he was doing bourbon or something. He was
doing Wyoming whiskey. He got up to a point. Yeah, and it really. I was so shocked. I thought, there's no way he'll be able to ride the tractor. The lawnmower. And sure enough, no, he was hitting cones left and right when he was 0.10. Yeah.
Yes, all of us are mortal after a certain amount. I mean, there's a set amount that gets you to 0.8, but some can maybe push it a little farther. But yeah, even Rod, I thought he would perform better or worse, but yeah, he was arrestable after, what we already know is the limit. So I appreciate everything you're doing, taking bad truckers off the road. I want you and all your deputies to stay safe tonight and every night. And as we go into 20 and 26, I know all the folks at Laramie County SO are thinking of Lenora and Lou. Give them, keep them in our thoughts, and a big shout out for them for New Year's Eve and into 2026. Sheriff, keep on keeping on, man.
Hey, thank you. And for throwing that out for Lou and Lenora. They're great people.
Yeah.
Lou's been volunteering for us for many years. Yeah.
Appreciate everything you do, and Cheyenne's that much safer. Laramie County that much safer because of this guy, Sheriff Kozak. Stay well, be safe.
All right, we'll see you.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
Sheriff Brian Kozak, you may have an occasion to meet him, hopefully on a good note sometime. But yeah, he's one of our favorite sheriffs in all of Wyoming. Him and Longmire, right? So we're going to recap the year 2025. We're going to look at things that happened, kind of work our way through it. Beginning with like what we think are the biggest stories of the year in 2025. And we're going to do that in just a moment. First, I think it's a good time to get Wyoming Game and Fish together and see what they're doing for the new year. It's Ray Hageman and Wyoming Game and Fish.
Hi, I'm Ray Hageman, and this is the Wyoming Outdoorsman. If you forgot a Christmas gift, there's still a chance to save face. Stay tuned. Well, if you overlook getting a Christmas gift for a friend or family member, a good way to get back in their graces is by purchasing a Wyoming Super Tag raffle ticket in the name of a loved one. then giving them the chance to win a hunt of a lifetime through this annual event. Each year, 11 hunters win the opportunity to purchase a license to hunt Wyoming species: bighorn sheep, moose, elk, mountain goat, mule deer, or white-tailed deer. Wild bison, pronghorn, mountain lion, gray wolf, and black bear are all eligible under Super Tag. Hunters can purchase a single ticket for $10 to target a specific species, or a $30 ticket to win the Super Tag trifecta. That's where you get the opportunity to hunt 3 eligible species in 1 year's hunting season. Since its inception in 2013, Super Tag has raised more than $12.5 million for conservation, with $1.5 million raised in 2024. All Super Tag funds stay in Wyoming and go toward habitat projects, big game surveys, and more for conservation efforts. The deadline to buy Super Tag tickets is January 31st. Winners will be announced in mid-February. Tickets for the 2027 Super Tag go on sale in February 2026. Visit the Wyoming Game and Fish website for more information. The Sage Grouse implementation team will meet at 10 a.m. January 8th at the Wyoming Game and Fish Department headquarters. The public is invited to attend in person. No virtual options will be available. The tentative agenda is available on the Game and Fish Sage Grouse implementation team webpage and is subject to change. The Sage Grouse implementation team is made up of representatives from state and federal agencies, industry, and non-governmental organizations appointed by the governor. These members work collaboratively to maintain a healthy population of the greater sage grouse under the state of Wyoming's Sage Grouse Executive Order. The Wyoming Outdoorsman is a program produced by the Wyoming Game and Fish Department here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Happy New Year. Thanks for listening. I'm Ray Hageman.
Back to the studio. Cowboy State Daily Morning Show with Jake continues.
Yes, it does, and it will continue right after this quick break. We'll recap the year 2025 and the highlights both in Wyoming and throughout the world. What happened in this past year? It's a good time to go reminiscing right after these.
Oh, look. Another national expert explaining Wyoming. Bless their hearts. Look, don't rely on national experts. We do it all ourselves at Cowboy State Daily Radio. Real news for real Wyomingites who actually live here. We tell it like it is, with headlines that hit harder than a spring blizzard and commentary that cuts through all the bull. Cowboy State Daily Radio. It's Wyoming news. No filter, no fluff, no kidding.
You're listening to the Cowboy State Daily Radio Network.
Wyoming is a place of unlimited potential, a place that inspires us to dream. Since 2014, Wyo Lotto has given back over $180 million to our great state through transfers, winnings, commissions, and more. Dollars that have gone directly into your cities, towns, and counties. Dollars that have changed lives and set dreams in motion. Thank you, Wyoming, for a legendary 10 years. We can't wait to dream up what's next.
Might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. You may not even know you have it, but you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand. With early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
What a year it was, 2025. Assuming nothing noteworthy happens in the next 14 hours or so, these were the highlights of the past year. Hopefully 2025 will not be remembered as the year of 6-7. Oh, God. Tell me no. Hopefully it won't be remembered as the Coldplay Kiss Cam, or maybe it will. Going back to the very beginning of this year, back in January, and I'm looking at, in particular, the 2025 news cycle as compiled by Axios. I don't know who that is, but we'll take it. These are the Google Trends, which are a good barometer of what the news was in 2025. Beginning all the way back in January of 25, the beginning of the year, the Palisades fire were huge in Google News. Those were the big fires in California, right? That was almost a year ago, January 25. Greenland also was a huge story in January 25, and you have to put in context, or you have to think about why was that? That was when Trump took office, and of the many things he said he was going to do, he was going to doge big government, find the waste. You know, he and his BFF at the time, Elon Musk, were going to tear through the books and find out all this wasteful spending. And he was going to secure the borders and do this and that. He also said he was going to buy Greenland or take over Greenland. By hook, crook, cash, or bombs, he was going to get Greenland. Greenland's response was predictably, no. But yeah, that continues to be, it continues to be an issue today. It continues to be in the news today. Greenland is in the news. Elon Musk. When is he not in the news? But the first half of this year, January, February, March, he was, because of either his Tesla, because he's Elon Musk and he's high on ketamine, and because of the Doge. Yeah, in the early part of 2025, Elon Musk, everything. DEI was the big issue in February-ish. One of the big things Trump was going to do when he got in office, and did, is say that's the end of this DEI nonsense. DC plane crash, that happened in February, I think. That was big. Doge was big news in general in the spring, early spring, March-ish, February, March. Zelensky in the news, and of course the ongoing conflict there, Russia, Ukraine. Tariffs were all the news in about April of this year, and the announcement that President Trump was going to impose like some super high tariffs. Pope Leo, I think Pope Leo died in May, late May, around there. What else was new? ICE operations throughout really 2025. ICE operations marked nearly the entire year, which also spawned the LA riots. Yeah, the one big beautiful bill, that was all the news in early July of this year. Alligator Alcatraz, yeah, that was kind of big. Jeffrey Epstein throughout the year, but never more so than in July. And then just recently, I mean, all we can talk about is the Epstein files, right? Huge, huge, huge. Coldplay, the Coldplay incident spiked big time when it happened. I'm looking at this kind of a chart timeline thing of 2025. Yeah, the Coldplay was a big deal. When the CEO was caught with the other employee and they were not married to each other. Jimmy Kimmel, the Jimmy Kimmel thing, that was a deal in September when Trump, well, I guess the FCC didn't cancel him, but we all know what happened with that. Sydney Sweeney, it began with her ad for American Eagle and then just continued. I mean, Sydney Sweeney owned 2025. Inflation owned the year. The topic of inflation kind of peaked in July, August, but really never subsided all year long, according to Google Trends. And they're part of the news cycle. Inflation was huge. K-pop Demon Hunters, gigantic. Oh my goodness. If you look back at 2025, it's certainly in the media world, in the entertainment industry, K-pop Demon Hunters owned the second half of 2025, beginning in June-ish, July, when the movie came out and the songs came out. Taylor Swift's engagement, remember that? To Travis Kelce. That was in August, September, around there. The whole Cracker Barrel deal where they revamped their logo, that was in the news. Charlie Kirk, obviously, the Charlie Kirk assassination. The announcement that Bad Bunny would be playing halftime at the Super Bowl, that was big. The No Kings celebration, both of them, No Kings 1 and No Kings 2, were in the news in 2025. The East Wing demolition to make way for the big, beautiful ballroom, that was big. How about the Louvre? The heist at the Louvre. Who would have thought that you could steal jewels out of the Louvre? Apparently, it was pretty darn easy. And then beginning in September and lasting right up until now, still the 6-7 thing. Kids, don't do the 6-7 in school. You get in big trouble. Government shutdown. That was obviously big news in 2025 during the shutdown. The AI bubble. Pretty much anything AI, yes. Yeah, all these things kind of happened in 2025. Piper says we have a last-minute visitor in the Zoom room. Okay, we could do that, I guess. Who is it? Oh, it's Dr. Aziz. All right. What the heck? Just to show that I can be nimble and flexible, let's do that. Dr. Michael Aziz is here. Hey, what are you doing?
How are you?
What are you
Happy
doing
New Year.
here? Happy New Year.
Thanks for having me again.
You bet. Anytime. You're always fun to talk to. So I think what Piper tells me, heads up, the topic is going to be what we're all going to do tonight, and that's drink to excess.
Are we live?
We're live now, yes.
Oh my God, I thought we were going to come in tomorrow, so here we are.
Yeah, we're going to do it right now because, I mean, I want people to get some advice now before they make the mistakes of tipping one too many at midnight. Champagne. Maybe you can tell. I don't know if this is the topic. I don't even know what the topic is. We're going to make it up as we go. Dr.
About
Aziz.
hangover, how to avoid hangover.
That's what I thought. So I have a weird question, and I don't know if this fits in with what you were prepared to talk about, but depending on your beverage of choice, I think you can get different hangovers from different stuff. Like I know what a beer hangover feels like, or too much wine, or a champagne hangover, to me, is the worst. And that's what a lot of us might have tomorrow morning. But is there different degrees of hangover depending on how much you had or what you had?
I think you're drinking too much champagne, actually. So alcohol is the same everywhere. I mean, different drinks have different concentration of ethanol, but some drinks, the ones especially dark drinks, have compounds called congeners, and they make the hangover worse. So think of whiskey, things that are dark in color versus white wine or champagne. But
that makes sense. What about these old wives' tales, these old adages about what you should drink first and what not to mix? You know, wine and beer or hard liquor, and like, does that matter?
Yeah, absolutely. So the advice we have for our viewers and listeners is do not mix drinks. Pick up your poison and stick with it. This way you don't, because there's different concentration in every drink. So if you're going to drink champagne, stick with champagne. If you're going to drink red wine, stick with red wine. If you're the kind of person who gets tipsy easy, then avoid dark drinks. Again, you can get with congeners, with wine and whiskey, the hangovers will be worse. And then everybody's different. Somebody who's very, 200-pound man, maybe a small woman. So stick to one drink an hour, because the liver can only metabolize one drink an hour. And know your level. If you get tipsy on one or two drinks, then stop. Don't wait till you get a hangover. But we'll talk about also how to lower the effect of hangover if you do go drinking too much.
Yeah, if you don't listen to us and it's too late tomorrow morning, we're with you. We got your back. We'll tell you how you get through that. But yes, a good reminder, Dr. Aziz tells us one drink an hour is about what you should shoot for, because that's how fast you will metabolize or burn off that effect. In other words, for those of us driving in Wyoming, we know a 0.08 is the legal limit. A drink has, depending on, a glass of wine, a beer, depending on the drink, has about a 0.02 per drink, and that's how fast you'll burn it off. So just do the math. If you get to 0.08, that means you had 4 drinks in pretty much an hour. That's not a way to do it. That's not the pace you should be on. Is there any way, Dr. Aziz, to prep our body for alcohol? I know some days if I do this on an empty stomach, oh my goodness, I'm going to feel the effects of alcohol more. I should have some food in me, or can I line the stomach by drinking castor oil or something? I don't know.
Well, please don't drink and drive, even just one drink. We should advise this to everybody. I mean, I get tipsy just with one drink, so that's my limit. I'm in Paris right now talking to you, so I'm only going to having one drink. I'm not driving. But in general, there are certain rules. One of them is you want to have a meal which has protein and fat. So like steak, for example, or a hamburger before you drink. That will slow the absorption of alcohol going into your bloodstream. Number 2, do not have anything with sugar or carbonated beverages when you mix it with alcohol, because that makes the absorption of ethanol much faster. If you're the kind of person who get tipsy, again, stick with clear alcohol versus the one that has congeners, because congeners have metabolized like methanol, and they're very, very toxic, and they're very hard to metabolize. So have a fatty meal, a burger, stick to one drink, drink a lot of fluids, don't exceed your limit. So if your limit is 1 or 2 drinks before you get tipsy, and that's one way to lower the effect of a hangover the next day.
Dr. Aziz talking to us live from Paris, you said?
Yes.
You're gonna be bringing down the curve just having one drink. The rest of the Parisians, don't worry, they're gonna level you. In fact, they may throw you out of France for not drinking enough tonight. Is it?
Maybe I'll have to. I'm not driving.
Is it almost New Year's Eve there? What time is it?
It's 10 to 6, but I've been watching the news earlier, and they've been celebrating everywhere in New Zealand, Australia. So people are celebrating everywhere already.
All right. Well, let's say our listeners and our viewers don't get the message, and tomorrow morning, my goodness, you wake up and your head is pounding. You feel kind of sick. So it's like a dual thing. We all know a hangover. It's the headache. Oh, my goodness. You can't make that go away. And it could be even worse than that, runs to the bathroom. So what do we do, doctor?
Yeah, so if they haven't listened to us and they exceeded their limit, it's not too late. There are things to do. One of them is drink a lot of fluids. A lot of people make a mistake of drinking coffee, but coffee is a diuretic, so it will make you more dehydrated. You will have more of the effects of a hangover. So just because you have a headache, don't have coffee. Just drink a lot of fluids. Don't drink with salt because, again, salt will make you feel more dehydrated. I would say drink a lot of fluids. And if you have a headache, take ibuprofen versus Tylenol because your liver is already overburdened by the amount of alcohol and metabolites in your system. So you don't want to give Tylenol because that could be very, very bad for your liver.
That's good to know. Ibuprofen, not Tylenol. And yes, just clear fluid, just water. Because you watch all those...
Electrolytes too.
Okay, yeah, like a Gatorade or a... Yeah.
Gatorade, coconut water, all good.
Yeah, because, in all the old black and white movies, to sober you up faster, they're like, hey, we'll give them coffee. Is there any way to get you sober faster? Or is just it's all the same?
No, I mean, everybody's going to be different because it depends upon your metabolism. What kind of drinks did you have? How many did you have? But it's just going to take some time to go away. But you want to lessen the effect by, again, drinking a lot of fluids, taking it easy the next day. Don't go to the gym. Don't have things with salt. Don't have coffee. And again, make sure that you take ibuprofen with something to eat. You don't want to take acetaminophen or Tylenol at all.
Yeah, very good news. All right, is that it?
Yeah, you want to talk about anything else? Maybe we'll talk about weight loss next week.
Yes, seriously, early in the next year, let's get on that and get on that topic.
Invite me again and I'll be on again to your viewers.
You bet. Give our best to Paris. I love that city. Oh, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Have a great New Year's. That's Dr. Michael Aziz and giving a little bit of advice on what you should and shouldn't do tonight. Of course, we're not going to listen, but if you find yourself tomorrow morning feeling like it's New Year's Day, and if you're watching the Rose Bowl parade, isn't that what they have it tomorrow, right? New Year's Day parade? If you're watching that with your eyes half open, crusted shut, yeah, well, you have nobody to blame but yourself. You should have listened. But drink plenty of fluid, plenty of water, electrolytes, recharge. Don't try to do too much tomorrow. Don't be a hero. Don't go to the gym. Don't overachieve. Just relax, rest, watch some college football games, I think. That's our advice to you, and that's the way Dr. Aziz sees it going. How to prepare for that inevitable New Year's Day hangover. You know it's coming. Don't do it in Laramie, man, because Sheriff Brian Kozak is got his guys and gals out on patrol making sure you don't drink and drive tonight. This is not the night, man. Expanded patrols probably everywhere, every county, every community. If you're law enforcement, you're on the job tonight. Yeah, so be cool. I think we covered just about every story. Oh, I know. We were looking at the stories of the year in 2025, and we hit just about all of them nationally and internationally, what we all talked about in 2025. But how about this Mark Hines story? Patricia Wire. She says her favorite story of 2025 has to do with a mama raccoon. Yeah, I kid you not. Wire has seen a lot of animals come and go in her wildlife rescue center near Cheyenne, but the most heartwarming tale of the year was that of the mama raccoon who lost her babies, trashed a pickup in her anger, and got a second chance at reuniting with her pups. What do they call a baby raccoon? A kit. Yes, the story started in June when a Cheyenne resident reported finding 4 kits, baby raccoons, hiding in his boat. Chris Saunders called the 307 Pest Critter Catching Company. Critter catchers. He took them to, he got them where they belong in the shelter, but the problem is Mom wasn't there. Mom showed up later, angry that she couldn't find her kits, and Mom destroyed this guy's pickup and was otherwise a nuisance until she was finally captured, brought to the shelter, reunited with her kits. It is a feel-good story of 2025. And a good note to end on for the year. Hey, y'all have a great New Year's Eve. Do it safely. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow, same time, to begin 2026. Let's do it on a good foot, the right foot. Enjoy New Year's Eve. Good morning. This is the Cowboy State Daily Morning Show with Jake. The new way Wyoming wakes up.